Welcome to a very special round here in Dortmund at the Sparkassen Chess Trophy 2022, and I'm here with Grandmaster Jussupov. Maybe I should say two sentences about me. Fiona will come back to you later, together with Grandmaster Erwin and the first part of our commentary today I will do. Patrick Zelbel, I'm international master and more behind the scenes here in Dortmund as the press officer. But it's an honor for me to make the live commentary today. And we have a great game between Dmitry Kollars and Vishwanathan Anand today. And maybe we should take a short look at the cross table after 3 rounds.
Yes, that's a good idea, because the situation is very interesting. We see that Michael Adams and Vishwanathan Anand on top, but we should of course take into account that Anand is playing today, and so he can improve his position.
Yeah.
Dmitry also started very well with one victory yesterday, an excellent game. So 1 out of 2 in such a field, it's a very good position. And of course he also wants to improve it today, and he even can take a lead if he will win with white pieces.
For sure.
Daniel Friedman, 1 out of 3. Everything is open also for him, because he will have more white pieces in the second round, and for him I guess this is very important.
They are blitzing out the first moves, Kollars and Anand, so maybe we should just go inside the
Obviously
game.
they are very good prepared. I had an honor to make the first move, so if something would go wrong for Dmitry, he can always blame me for the wrong start. But I hope he will not do it. It looks like everything goes according to his preparation. C4.
It's pretty interesting that he played first E4 yesterday, yeah? In this great game against Michael Adams. Yesterday he played E4, and today he switched to C4.
Which is considered to be the best choice in no-castling chess. We should remind it that both sides can't make castle.
Yeah.
And there is, of course, we will talk about it a little bit later, what does it mean for the strategy of the game. So far so good. I think we are repeating the game between Adams and Anand.
From the first round, yeah?
From the first...
From the second round,
From the second
first game
round,
of
first
Vishy.
game of Anand. And I think that's a new move, yeah? E4. It was very interesting because Anand was preparing the variation what he played against Adams for the series, for the classical games.
Yes.
And he said it was working also in this no-castling situation, which is very interesting because the main problem for preparation is to see if the system, or normal system, is really working in no-castling chess. So E4 is actually one of the very interesting moves in theory of English opening, but here we quickly had a different situation.
And now Dmitry played D2, D4.
D2, D4, yes, and black took, on D4 knight takes, bishop B4 happened.
That would have been all normal in classical chess too, I guess.
True. So we could imagine this position also in normal chess. Actually, I am already not a big expert of these variations. Usually I played something a little bit different with black pieces against C4. But F3 makes a lot of sense, of course, protecting the pawn E4 from one perspective, and that's the element what Dmitry was using actually in his successful game against Michael Adams. White king may have an opportunity to go to F2.
Yes.
That's the way to develop the king, and these positions. You should do it carefully if some diagonals are open, of course, but prepare maybe this if bishop move to e3, but that is one of the possibility to develop the king and to connect the rook. This connection of the rooks is strategically very, very important. It is always a problem to bring the rooks in the game, and you need some open lines, and the rooks are supporting each other in fight for these open lines, for example, and it is very, very useful element. And actually, Dmitry solved this problem very successfully against Michael Adams, and Adams got into difficulties.
Yeah.
His rook was stuck.
He had a very bad rook on h8 and h6 later on even, and it was not part of the game, and that was the reason for the success of Dmitry yesterday against Adams.
And if you want to understand the strategy of this no-castling chess, then of course this is one of the games we should study.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the first moment when Vishy takes a long sword today after f3. I don't know, the first moves which comes into my mind is queen a5 to do something active.
Yeah, that's we can of course also analyze through this. This is very natural possibility. So what is the idea for white? So maybe nothing special. Maybe white is preparing, let's say, maybe some sacrifice.
Maybe knight b3 and just invite black to take on c3 and...
Let's see what will be.
After take, bishop d2.
Yes, so it could be very interesting.
Queen has to go to e5. And
and now we have to find the follow-up. Okay, let's say we do something maybe to bring bishop to c3.
Yeah.
Could be very interesting position to try.
Yeah, seems to be quite good for white, I guess.
Especially that we know that black cannot now escape to the king side, otherwise it may be questionable, but here difficult to assess this type of positions indeed.
The other typical move would be d5 after f3.
Yes.
And that is what Vishy just played right now.
Just played. This is a central move. It was also his strategy against Adams, immediately to seek for the confrontation in the center, and that way to solve the opening problems. Let us see what does it mean in this particular position. So he also played d5 rather early. Let's say white probably will take. He can also take on, of course, on c6 first, but just to make it more easy, maybe take first. Yeah, black takes, yes.
Yeah, Dmitry already took on d5. C takes d,
so
he takes d. And now,
guessing some of his moves, which is good.
Good start.
I expect black also to take. Now, what to do? What was an idea?
I mean, bishop b5 is obviously a candidate move.
Looks like a good move to me, and immediately followed.
You already played it. Okay.
Very good. So we are really on a good track. Yes, and now, and in many cases, players would wish they could
castle, give a pawn, and be active. Yeah.
Yes, but not in this game. So now task of Anand, how to protect c6, which is now obviously under some pressure. The easiest way would be to playing bishop d7, but then we should think about possibilities of taking
on d5.
So let us see, maybe we can work it out for you. And let's say white tries to take on d5. What is happening? Black
Has
can
to
take with knight. Yes. So far, I don't see big problem. Yeah. No big harm is done. Black is developing the pieces.
Seems to be. seems to be all right, yeah.
Seems to be
Knight
all right.
c6, you will take back with the pawn.
In some moment, you attempted maybe to play some aggressive move like king f2, but here it is also some tactical problems. We shouldn't forget about some checks, for example.
And the problem for white, yeah.
Could be problem for white. So not so easy. But we have a move, so we don't need to waste our time by trying to work it out. After pawn takes d5, bishop b5,
black took on e4.
Black took on e4. That seems to be because of the speed of the action. I would say Anand was preparing this at home because he is very confident. I wouldn't be so confident if I wouldn't analyze this position at home.
But that's the most concrete move. I mean, there's this concrete line after knight takes c6.
Yes, what is the idea? That's the first question. What black wants to do?
Probably there's queen d1 or bishop c3 first. But after queen d1, king d1, black's bishop is hanging.
True. So that is
there's no trick with a6 or bishop d7.
So maybe bishop takes
c3, and now there's pawn takes back, or maybe even some king f2 stuff. I don't know. But maybe you should check.
Funny, very funny.
Yeah, it's a funny move.
Yes.
But maybe you should check pawn takes on c3 first, yeah?
I would stick to more normal continuation. We are not using the engine at the moment, although it is possible. I showed yesterday how it is possible to manipulate the first moves and then to use the engine.
Okay.
Yes, but we try to be fair to the players, and we are working with Patrick.
So queen d1, king d1, and a6 should be the idea, yeah?
True, because if bishop d7, knight simply goes away.
Yeah.
So
this is, and the big idea is that both pieces of white are hanging.
And if bishop a4, you can play bishop d7.
Exactly.
Very tricky.
And yeah, black gets.
It looks very much okay for black, yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
that is
very interesting idea behind the scene. Yeah.
And I'm still interested in this king f2 move.
Immediately.
Take on c6. Knight takes c6,
but also
bishop
you
takes
can
c3.
try it immediately. True.
That's the alternative, yeah, true.
Just to try to bring the rook in the center. So let us see how we worked it out. We took.
And now king f2?
Now king f2. Okay.
Is it any idea, or? I mean, if you take now on d1, rook takes d1, the threat is rook d8, checkmate. That was my idea.
Yes, that we will show it because it's pretty. Yes.
So no a6 possible, but bishop d7 immediately
is an option.
Yeah.
Bishop d7 immediately. So now I would say it's a good time to take, but then black also can take on c6. Doesn't matter how. Black in the moment won a pawn, which is not so terrible because we have two bishops. So this is actually an interesting proposal. It's probably even.
But there's also bishop takes c6 right now, yeah?
Yes, so more safe, yeah, more safe move. Let's say white takes, and again this situation, which I would say it's okay for white because king is stuck.
Yeah, white has
in the middle.
Much safer king.
White has safer king, so there is a compensation. At least this is serious variations for players to consider. Very good. Yeah, we have this intermediate move king f2. It's actually very funny. We are moving to this direction actually.
Yeah, he already took on c6.
Mm-hmm. So we have very exciting opening, I would say.
So bishop takes c3 is the only move.
That's what we thought, but okay, if it is only move, I'm not so sure. this would be exchange sacrifice, yes?
Yes, bishop d7 and...
Bishop takes 8. Sometimes it is possible, but somehow I don't believe it.
Okay.
I don't believe it. For the reason that there is no possibility for black to bring
But
the
it's for
rook.
both sides, yeah? The king on e1 cannot go to g1, h1? Who knows?
True, but somehow we just sacrificed exchange for almost for nothing. Yeah?
No, okay.
And our king is stuck in the center. If something like this happens, maybe white have
Always is king f2 stuff.
possibility, yes. Yes. So we should be really careful here with black. Also, actually, bishop was hinting, so I'm sorry for suggesting such a things, but queen d4 may be a good start for white to clarify the situation here.
Yep.
At the moment, Dmitry, how does it look? Yes, it looks confident to me.
I'm pretty sure that he has this position somewhere in his notes before the game. Maybe not his main line, but probably somewhere.
Possible too, because of the speed with which they played the first 10 moves. It's some clear indication of some kind of preparation.
Yeah. And as you said, this king f2 is a strategic idea we saw yesterday, we see today already after a few moves, so that's an important thing in this no-castling chess with f3, king f2. That can be a good idea.
Yes, so we repeat our conclusions, yes. We can take here. And that was a moment where Patrick suggested just to run away with the king. It's very interesting.
But there's, okay, queen b6 check, maybe you should show that line too. Bishop e3. And black cannot take on b5 with the queen because again this nice mate on d8.
So that's what easy to overlook. But let us consider now a more simple move, just taking now. Probably bishop takes c6 was a choice. Now the situation is somehow different. Because we have here many moves. What happened? If bishop d7,
bishop or knight d7,
we simply take. No?
And no trick.
No clear trick to me.
No, should be very good for white.
If queen b6 check, I thought actually about bishop e3, but now I discovered that queen takes b2. Queen takes b2. Is it a playable position? Maybe it is playable.
Yeah, I missed queen b2.
Yes, and because maybe it is playable, because if you play like this, then you may lose material. And if you play queen e2, then black can take the rook. Yeah, so it's also okay in a way.
Yeah, we are very deep into the line now, but
we're probably trying to figure out what were the home analysis of Dmitry, because as I said, he makes a very confident impression, and a very rare case that Anand has less time than his opponent. So he is probably rechecking his analysis.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the choice in the game position. But we said that bishop takes c3 is the best move for sure, yeah?
So far, that's what was our conclusions. And king f2 is interesting, but also taking with pawn is not...
it's not stupid.
Not stupid at all, yes. And we have here this position, and a6 is important idea. And bishop d7, that is important idea.
And black is a pawn up, but white has some compensation as we
compensation, yes. But not easy position. White can try to bring his rook. But in endgame already it's not so much danger against the king. But Still, it could be enough compensation maybe to
At least not to be worse, but
not to be worse.
if it's a real advantage, it's not so easy.
Yes, so we have here a couple of very interesting options.
What does it mean for a young grandmaster like Dmitry to play against such a legend as Vishy Anand?
I think first of all it's of course honor, and is very pleased to have this opportunity. He's really playing against the chess legend, and something to remember, of course. It's not a game which you will forget. In 10, 15 years you can always say, I played Anand.
Yeah.
Dmitry is very, very nice, very modest person. I like him very much. I had the privilege also to coach a team where he was playing on the first board. It was European Championship under 18, and he was already grandmaster and was a leader of the team, and actually
Of the German national team, yeah?
it was German national team under 18.
Yeah.
So the European Championship, and we won this tournament mostly due to very good team spirit and also very solid play on the board one. We have this, we have bishop takes c3, so our analysis were not useless actually, and then follows this.
But no king f2.
But no king f2. Okay, king f2 was probably too funny to be tried in a serious game against Anand, or maybe Dmitry found in analysis some weak spots of this move, so he played a more solid move. It actually looks like we are heading towards the position what we discussed, with a6. How to play now, this is a little bit different question, yes, but I would try to keep the bishops in play.
This is bishop a4 move. Okay, the alternative would be to go knight d4 check, or was that stupid at all?
It's not stupid, but it is a little bit unexpected for me. I would try to keep two bishops, because it's like kind of insurance. If something would go wrong, you have two bishops and you probably can escape to the draw. So, now white king would have another good square, maybe some future to c2. So something like bishop c4, I would not rule it out. But we had the move already. He went
into our bishop a4
our
line.
main line, bishop a4.
And bishop d7, obviously,
D7, only move which really makes sense. And now the point is, that's why a6 was introduced, and knight c6 is pinned. He cannot retreat and protect the bishop at the same time. So black would win this piece back. And I expect actually rook e1. I don't see many other moves. Of course, you can start maybe with bishop g5 for some reasons. But then also black can play complicated moves, something like knight d5.
And the threat on c3.
Very strange position, yes.
So okay, king c2 and so on, but bishop g5 looks a bit strange.
Maybe too early, yes. So our preference to rook e1. What else?
Most natural, yeah.
What else can we do? Yeah. Theoretically, you can also try to bring this rook on b1 in the game, but I don't see the big.
Yeah, the point of it.
Big point yet. Okay, let me show you one variation. Just something like this, and white can play rook b7. This move would be very stupid in classical chess because of the long castle with check.
True.
And rook is losing, but no castling check. This is possible continuation. Possible.
Yeah, and the bishop can come to a3 at some moment, and the black king is weak. Black is a pawn up, but cannot take on f3, I guess, because then the other one is coming to e1.
To e1. It's a huge compensation. I would say that black would be good advised to think about something like this and to repetition of the moves.
Yeah, but I would try to play here with rook b6, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so white can keep trying. Then we have some ending, which some ending position. Yeah. It's possible to play with white like this. Yeah. So there are two possibilities: to make a repetition and to try maybe to see in some line. It shouldn't be rook b1, but in some line it could be good compensation, or the other form of.
Yeah, or like that you will win the pawn back at some moment because you are up in development, and then win the pawn back and have an endgame with bishop against knight and maybe some slide edge.
In some cases it could be a little bit better, but you have to, of course, to be careful, especially by playing Anand, not to take too much risks. Because Anand, he would be happy to have some advantage in endgame and then to torture you for a while.
So the game position is bishop d7, and Dmitry takes his first long thought of the game, as we see in the video.
It's of course a good moment to do it, because he has to find out which strategy he wants to follow.
Yeah.
He has already at least 3 candidate moves, at least what we found: bishop g5, rook e1, and even rook b1, worth to try. So there is a choice. Maybe we can, even if we try harder, maybe we can say maybe white can also take the pawn.
I just wanted to say, if you can take a pawn, that should also be at least a candidate move. Yeah.
Yes. So there is some possibilities to consider. There is a very interesting situation in the tournament that Dmitry and Anand they would be playing 2 games in 2 days.
Yes,
so there looks like a match, and tomorrow Anand would try to play with white pieces. Very important game today for the future of the tournament, but tomorrow it will be the second part of this encounter.
Yeah, and Dmitry told me yesterday that he's looking very much forward to the 2 games against Anand, and that is the main reason he's happy to play in our no castling format now.
I must say that it is, of course, very, very good from Dmitry to help the tournament, and that he jumped to this no castling chess, and that's very nice of him.
Yeah, and today that is the only game on our stage, because usually there should be a rest day today for our grandmasters, but because of the illness of Vladimir Kramnik, the game from Monday was rescheduled for today, and that's the reason we see this game today on our stage, but the other boards on the stage are empty. But we have a lot more to show in Dortmund in this week, so we have 2 more round-robin tournaments. Maybe you can take a look into our women's tournament. I don't know.
Why not? Because we have actually very, very interesting game. And so I like to see it very much. Lara Schulze plays against the Kucharska Honorata. We know Lara Schulze, of course, much better.
Yeah, she's from Germany here, FIDE master, or man FIDE master and woman international master. And she's leading the women's tournament here in Dortmund, where we have 10 players, and Lara scored 4 out of 5. And yesterday she played the same opening she had white yesterday and played the same opening against Nastya Rakhmangulova in the French, this pawn sacrifice, and she won the game at the end. So same opening, and probably Kucharska looked at it before the game.
Very interesting. She spent some time.
Yes.
We can briefly look how it happened, and just to see the first moves, French defense.
In the camera we see, by the way, Lara Schulze at her board in front of the stage.
And we already mentioned that she is, of course, very well known. She is also in a special program of German Chess Federation. And
for young women,
For young women, and she's one for the member of the national team squad, and she's just many times German champion.
True. And even European champion under 20 from last year. Yeah. Yeah, this French advanced variation, I think it's very topical nowadays, yes? This bishop d3, pawn takes d4, and now to castle and sacrifice a pawn.
Oh, that's very interesting.
It's a very modern variation and...
Very interesting. So she's taking also some risk here by playing like this, but it is very interesting chess. So if black would take, white is going to take with knight and maybe develop the pieces quickly. So black decided on a more conservative tactic, not to take anything, just to develop.
I think bishop d7, this is still the main line, and h4 is a well-known idea here, which the engines give. At the time, black's knight is going to e7. White is ready for h4, h5, h6 at some moments, alpha zero style, pushing the h-pawn. So this position, I think, is well known with rook c8 and a6 as main moves, and long castle I never saw, to be honest.
So that is also explains why Lara is thinking, but of course it makes some sense too, to evacuate the king and not to play no castle chess, but just to be able to bring king in a safe position. The reason why we should be careful with long castle, that sometimes white can jump to g5, attacking f7, but it's not dangerous here. Black can defend the pawn. So black is not.
And after knight takes h7, the h file is opening for the rook. So that
this pawn could be given away. Pawn f7 would be, of course, different story. Usually, I agree with you. Usually, automatic move, if you see something like h4, that sometimes is h6, automatic move.
h6 is also much played.
Yes, but you are right. Of course, rook c8 is also the very logical development move here for black.
I think they play, when white is playing h5, then they are going h6. So I think they wait for white to play h5 and then go h6 when I saw some grandmaster games in this position. So, but the game is continuing with long castle and knight
but
h3.
Not knight g5, obviously, because it was not threatening much. Knight a3 is a good move. Develops on the queen side. Yes, why not? Trying maybe to come to b5, and if you are lucky, even to d6.
Yeah, this long castle, I don't know. I think black will not take on c3 now, because then always the b file will open up and the king is in danger. So that's not the idea.
Generally, black should try to open us less files as possible, less lines, and maybe the safe move, what I would expect. Black is king b8.
Looks very natural.
That way also you have some reinforcement and defense. That is possible. But I don't know the style of Honorata. How is she playing?
Yeah, she has a hard tournament right now as 1.5 out of 5. So she's still waiting for her first win, and will try today against Lara. So yeah, king b8 looks very natural and okay.
Yes, and I think if opponent tries to attack you on C line, king b8 is a standard move. But of course, yes, knight e5 is also normal. Bringing the bishop in the game, maybe to be ready to take on e3. So that is a big choice now for Honorata.
I think anyway, Lara could go knight b5 next move, and then try to go to d6 or just take the pawn back on d4 with a piece.
Yes. No, it looks like main struggle is ahead. We will see how game continues.
Yeah.
Maybe we revisit some other games in the meanwhile, or come
We
back.
should just check because there happened a lot at the board of Dmitry against Vishy.
Yes, but I think we were more or less in this analysis. Yes, let me see how game continued. After bishop d7, we were expecting rook e1
Yes.
as one of the most natural continuation, and black took on c6.
The most safe way to exchange the bishops and
Yes, and now, of course, white could also take on e4, but generally you maybe think twice before doing this, because knight is profiting from damaged pawn structure, and that explains why white wants to keep more compact structure. He played bishop g5, maybe with idea to take on f6 and then to take with rook. So this is a very natural move. Again, in no castling chess, computer would suggest long castle with check, yes, but
yeah, for sure.
If chess, if classical chess, sorry, I am confused. But here, probably he need to take different measures. King d7. Let us see what is going on. Clever choice of Dmitry, actually, playing against very strong player, to go to this ending where he can't lose.
Yeah, he's a little bit better because of the double f pawn. Yeah.
Yes, so he can. Of course, he's not going to make it quick draw. He wants to fight, but he had not taken any risk.
No.
I would be happy to have this position, for example, against Anand.
But not against me.
Also against me.
Yeah, okay.
Because safe position and you can play. But
yeah, true. So bishop g5. Is there any other move for black? King d7 looks pretty natural to bring the rook to
very
e8,
natural,
yeah?
yes, because you need to bring the rooks, and anyway white is going to take on f6.
Yeah, maybe we can show if black just plays h6, which would not be the best, I guess. Then you just take and win one move, yeah? Rook takes e4, and now you have to go with the king away anyway, and white won just a full move.
Just a tempo, because h6 is not contributing to anything. Yes. Okay, black can start with check. Yes, but actually we already have a move, but that doesn't make so much difference, I guess, because white can take this part of
rook b1, rook
b1 or rook e1. Yeah. White is here very good connected.
So he played the probably best move, king d7.
King d7, now white would take on f6, that was his idea, I guess.
Because after f takes e4 immediately, as you said, it can also be a bad pawn.
It's worse pawn structure, and here we have a clearly better pawn structure. Yes, actually it's interesting that Dmitry is still thinking. Yes, about his options, but okay, maybe assessing his chances in this ending.
Yeah.
A very interesting situation, actually. There's this microscopic advantage of Kollars something that you can use.
Should white play here with 2 rooks or with 1 rook? What is the better strategy to press anything out of it?
That's also a very good question, actually. Yeah. So we have here choice for white. Okay, maybe so far to keep everything. And now rook b1, yes. So at the moment it looks like white rooks are a little bit more active, and maybe we can try to profit.
So you think white should hold both rooks if possible?
Honestly, I'm not sure, because it's a good question.
Okay.
It's a good question. At some stage, white should make this decision anyway. Yeah? But we can compare. Let us try to, let's do exchange and compare these positions. Maybe it is easier.
You have to stop rook e3, yeah?
Yeah, I would think so, yes. The problem is that it's a little bit annoying here, yeah? Because black is trying maybe to bring his rook in.
Yeah, and our rook on a1 is not active.
Not active, yes. So it is maybe at this particular situation, maybe it would be better to keep
both rooks because of concrete reasons. Yeah, because the rook on f4 is active and now black has to spend the move.
And we can bring the rook on b1.
Yeah.
So there is some more things going on. Also, and sometimes we can maybe better attack these pawn weaknesses. Objectively, it is very small advantage for Dmitry, but it's good to have advantage.
True. Good. So king d7, one move more. That is
king d7, one move we expected to see. True.
So but this is the game position.
We think bishop takes f6 should be played.
Yeah.
It's interesting that Dmitry is still not confident in this. Yeah.
Okay, he will think about f takes e4, and
no, I think different. I think maybe he considers this move if I do rook d1.
Ah.
So he thinks about a sharp way to play this position. Because still it is actually a little bit tricky. Do you consider this already a clear ending? But white...
That looks dangerous for black.
Yes, white has material, 2 rooks and bishop, which is actually enough also to create a checkmating attack. So that's probably what is the real choice for him. Because if he wanted to take pawn takes e4, he could do it earlier.
Yeah, I thought because now black has no knight d7 to come to e5. But as you said, okay, it's
probably not a big issue.
Yeah.
But king c2 and to bring rooks, this could be interesting chess.
So if we go rook e8 now, I don't know which one is better.
Yes.
Maybe try this one, yeah. And then rook d1, king c7.
We may try to keep everything, yes, bishop f4, and try to harass the black king as much as possible.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying, yeah.
At least he has initiative. Yeah?
King a7 is mate. Funny mate with bishop e3.
Let us show it. Yes. No, it is an option. It's a very interesting option. So he has a choice between very safe continuation.
This bishop f6 or this king c2?
Yes, bishop takes f6 or little bit more entertaining king c2. Interesting choice for him.
Yeah, but it was a great opening phase of the game, I think. Many interesting lines and...
Very interesting, yes, very unusual position. And also we learned something about pins. Yeah? It was funny pin with knight on c6.
And I'm still curious about this king f2 idea. I will ask Dmitry later on if he considered it.
What was going on there?
Yeah.
But I'm sure that now, at least now, he considers king c2.
Yeah, you are right. As we see, in the video he's sinking. Vishy also at the board.
So it's maybe an interesting moment also to revisit the other tournament.
Yeah, we can maybe
to visit other tournament.
Yeah, we can maybe tell also about our Sportland NRW Youth Cup, where we have 10 players, and there's one grandmaster playing, Alexander Bagration, who lives here in Dortmund, and there are two international masters playing, two strong international masters. One is Liam Frolik from the Netherlands, and the other one is Jonathan Karlstedt. And yeah, he is playing Artem Lutzko today. We see him in the camera, I think, at the left corner at the front, playing against our Ukrainian guy who is living in Germany right now and just won the under-16 German championship last month. And they are both leading the tournament with 3.5 out of 5, and today they are playing for the first place in the tournament.
I must say that German, I don't know how to translate the name of the organization, Youth Federation. German Youth Federation allowed the Ukrainian players to participate in championship, which was very nice gesture, and Artyom proved to be very grateful for this. Yes,
just winning
the event, just winning the event. And now he has very experienced opponent.
Yeah, Artem is close to 2,400, only a few rating points missing, maybe just crossed it in the tournament, and yeah, his goal for this tournament is an international master norm for sure. Yeah, and Jonathan, as you said, well-known German chess player, chess coach, and he coached Dmitry Kollars for a long, long time.
Yeah, so let us see what mentor is doing.
Yeah, some Nimsoinian it was, I guess.
Yes, we start from the beginning just to see. It would be Nimtsevich defense and very popular variation.
And they are allowed to castle?
They are allowed to castle, obviously, yes. C5. That's a kind of a Ragozin opening, I would say. Yeah. Popular construction.
94 looks a bit unusual, I don't know, or is it a serial move?
Well, it's definitely a possibility, but of course you also can take with pawn. Nothing. All is possible.
Yeah.
Black moves looks reasonable.
Johnny played A3 right
and
now.
White played A3 right now. So we have some opening phase where actually it looks like black can be also satisfied with the position. It's solid position.
True. And not much happened right now. The game is still.
No, the game is still.
Take.
So black doesn't have that.
You can go B6,
big problems.
B7.
For example, yes, that's probably a good way to continue. Not just to put bishop and to finish the development about equal position.
Yeah. Okay.
Still, Dmitry still thinks. Or?
Yeah. So maybe we can also go to the second board at the Sportland NRW Youth Cup. There's two more young German players. Leonardo Costa, maybe you know him a little bit?
Of course, I know him very well because he was taught also by my wife for some time, and he was at our school. Now he left, but of course we are watching very closely what our former students are doing, and we are happy if they show good results. And Leonardo gave us already a lot of grounds for happiness, because he plays well, he develops very well. He's one of our future hopes in Germany.
Best German youth players, already playing in the first league, in the Bundesliga. And he is at 1 hour 34 at the clock, so more than at the beginning. And it was, maybe you can show
we have 17 moves, and he actually only gained time.
And it was a funny night offline, I guess.
that means that he prepared something to surprise his opponent, or at least he plays his preparation. Let us see. I must say, I'm not a big expert in neither.
But they start to play all kind of moves against Naidov, and he is playing h4 here.
Yes, I would not. Maybe I shouldn't comment this move. It's just because it is a little bit against my education, classical education, but true. You especially as a young player, you can experiment. You can try some rare continuation. Why not? If you don't try it when you are young, you will never try it probably. So black develops with knight c6 and
pushing at h5.
Pushing h5. Okay, now it makes sense. Yeah, and this is very concrete. a5 is going on, very concrete line. And for some reasons, black is not taking this pawn. Okay, maybe he doesn't want to play no castling chess after king takes d8.
Bishop e3 and long castle.
Bishop e3 and long castle. Okay, that's
some compensation.
Obviously, Leonardo is in his preparation. Black played knight g4. So they're actually very quick here.
Very aggressive by Leonardo.
It's aggressive play. But he has a compensation. Yes, that is even kind of obvious compensation. Huge lead in development.
Yes.
And we see black is still struggling. Instead of developing his pieces, he retreats and loses even more time.
Yeah, but this f6 e5, which he played, looked, I think, quite clever to gain some space. Knight h4.
And you needed to do it at least to get the c7 square, maybe
for the king,
for the king, to be able to develop. Yes, that looked like a sensible maneuver, but obviously, if you look at the clock, it's still plus time. Leonardo was ready for this, yes, and black played bishop e7.
Okay, now he's thinking more than 2 minutes. First time in the game. So maybe now he has to think for himself, but obviously he gained good compensation for his pawn. And his opponent, Christoph Dahl, he started very well in the tournament with 2 wins, but yesterday he lost to Artem Lutsko, and so he's now third in the tournament behind Lutsko and Karlstedt.
And Leonardo, what is he doing?
He's at 50%, so 2.5 out of 5.
That actually also explains that he wants to win as well. With 5 pieces. That's very aggressive.
It's a 6th round, so he has to score a win with white if he wants to fight for the tournament win or some international master norms.
It's still possible, of course.
True.
Still there are some rounds. One feature in the position is that he fixed the pawn on g7 with this operation h4, h5. So that could be a potential target for his play. So one idea suggested actually by engine is rook h3. But I like it. It's also a human idea, just to bring the rook
and he played
to g3. That's very good. So it has not my blessing, it has the blessing of the mighty computer. Yes. And it's a good plan.
To attack the g7.
To attack something, we need to use our advantage in time for this operation. Maybe black would go away with the rook. To d8 or to e8, I don't know.
Because he has to play bishop f8 next move.
Yes, and if rook g3 to play bishop f8, just in time. Otherwise, the rook would be stuck on h8, and that is not good. But now rook is developed, so that's probably only
but it's not easy to see which are the next moves for black. Yeah, the knight on d7 can never move.
This is true, because bishop on b6 or knight to b6, that could be a serious matter. Not easy. We said white has a compensation here. That's still true. That's still true. So you mean maybe we increase the pressure now by putting bishop on e5 and
bringing
maybe
into the game some threats of bishop d7. Maybe it's not threatening, but it's an idea to take on d7.
Let us see some sample line. Let's say black plays rook b8 for some reasons. White takes on d7, bishop takes d7, and now we have a good move to combine all forces at once. We have the move bishop c5, attacking the defender, which defends the pawn g7, and this way supporting our initiative on the king side, from one side, and if black takes, then this mighty knight is coming in both directions.
A lot of threats.
Too much for black. Too much immediately. So black has to be careful and to think about white's attacking possibilities.
Yeah, so enterprising opening by Leonardo Costa, and I don't know, I like the position for white.
And let's revisit the game. Anand.
Yes, for sure, because Dmitry made a decision.
Made a decision out of respect to former world champion. He decided to go for ending. I'm sorry, we go for the position.
But as you pointed out, you said, okay, white could be just a bit better here, without any risk.
Yes, and interesting, because I was like including rook g8 in analysis.
Yes, you made it immediately, g8, g3.
But Anand played rook e8 immediately, not provoking this g3. What is the better decision we will see in the future.
But what is the difference if you now go rook f4? I mean, we made rook f4, rook e6.
Yes, then probably, or maybe if rook f4, maybe he can play. There is slightly difference in position. I think that I was putting the wrong rook maybe on e8, and Anand definitely wants to use the rook
on the b file.
On the b file as well.
Because we can show rook takes f6. Rook
and
b2.
Maybe just active play.
Rook takes f7.
Yes, and this is for our viewers. That's a dream situation for black. With both rooks, black can't lose this position. No way. Because he always has a perpetual. But sometimes you can very effectively play for a win here because of the threats. Two monster rooks. Maybe in this case it's enough for a draw, but only for a draw. But this is a safe choice. That explains us why Vishy played rook h to e8. So to be able to use the second rook on b8, very exact defending of.
And I think Dmitry will not go for that, but he's now taking a long thought.
How to squeeze a little bit of advantage from this position. Yeah, that's. Since black did not provoke g3, the rook e3 may be not that dangerous. Because we simply play king d2. So then we play rook b1.
Yeah, that could be the idea of Dmitry. But I think it's a good time when he takes a long thought now for our first break today. So I think we are just back in 10 minutes, and in between you can see the game analysis by Vishy Anand himself of his win yesterday against Daniel Friedman with his great king e2 move in the Berlin Wall and no-castling chess.
Big novelty.
Yeah, so that's for the break, and see you in a few minutes. So we are here after the third game of the No Castling World Masters of the Sparkassen Chess Trophy 2022. And today, former world champion Vishy Anand surprised us with 6th King E2 in the Berlin Wall. But of course, because of the no castling rules here in Dortmund. Congratulations, Vishy, for your win against Daniel Friedman today.
Yes, thanks. I tried to improve a little bit on what Daniel played against Michael. So I tried to anticipate what he would improve. Bishop E3 is maybe only good for a game. And then I saw that for C3, the computer's top move is Queen E7. Quite logical because there is no easy way to defend E5. And then this funny move, King E2. Obviously, I smiled when I first saw it.
But, as we did all today when we saw your game.
But when you see Stockfish suggesting it for the first time, then you understand, well, it's just funny. I went King E2. A6 is also what I prepared. I mean, there are other moves. Knight G4 is one idea that comes up a lot, but A6 as well.
When we saw the game, we thought about Knight G4, but
then Rook F1. Rook F1, and then there are good lines. I think the computer suggests F5, and then Knight BD2 is okay.
Okay, yeah, we thought about that when we saw the position. Yeah. Okay, but you knew a few moves here. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't leave myself completely helpless. A6.
Yeah, A6.
And then I might have misplayed what I'm supposed to do. Anyway, Bishop C6, BC, DC, and then Rook E1, Bishop G4, Knight D2. I wasn't sure if I'm supposed to go Knight D2 or King F1. Maybe I'm supposed to go King F1.
So that was an alternative?
Yes. And then if Rook D8, H3, and Bishop H5, I somehow wasn't sure what exactly. So I couldn't remember my prep exactly.
Yeah. But
anyway, long story short, Knight D2, Rook D8, Queen C2. I was worried about Knight H5 when we got here.
To Rook D8, and now exactly. Knight H5.
Knight H5.
Okay.
Because I go King F1, Knight F4, D4. I see the trap. ED4, CD4, Bishop D4, Knight D4, Rook D4, Knight B3, and then probably the computer wants to go. What does it want to do?
2 pieces hanging?
Yes, well, that's obviously my point. Maybe somehow it liked Bishop E2 check here.
Bishop E2, okay.
And if I go King G1, is it so bad for me? You go Bishop D3. And I don't know, Queen C3. Isn't this working for me?
Still 2 pieces hanging. And after Rook E4,
maybe Rook C4, but I have Queen G7. Maybe, sorry, I understand. He wants to go Rook C4.
Rook C4 now?
Instead of Bishop D3. And my queen is a bit messed up. If Queen D2, then he goes Rook takes E4. So,
okay.
Yeah, you always miss one detail with these computer things, but at least I hoped that since Daniel had to work everything at the board and be sure that I had not checked it. So maybe I got away with this. And Knight H5 was uncomfortable. So maybe I misplayed the order anyway.
So that would have been the better move for Daniel here.
He went King D7, which...
want to go to C8?
C8, this is very natural. I mean, both of us are castling artificially. But here I have to pose a question to his thing. So H3, Bishop H5.
I think that
there are a lot of details whether I can play B4 first or not. But anyway, we won't get into that because I don't even have an answer. So G4.
But that looked pretty strong, this H3, G4.
It did. And somehow I couldn't quite close it. But anyway, Knight G4.
So after Bishop G6, just for the viewers, the idea
just
is
Knight C4. And I mean, that bishop is kind of bad on G6. And if I play B4, A4, then the king, when it goes to C8, it'll be back in a mating attack. B5, and the attack starts.
Okay.
So I think it's quite uncomfortable for him.
So your pieces are just much more active.
Well, that bishop is not ideally placed.
Yeah, okay. So he went for this piece sack on this knight takes G4.
Yeah, H G4, Bishop G4, Rook G1. H5 I thought was fine, Knight C4. And if he plays F6, I felt I could go Bishop E3, exchange, and put the knight on E3. And I mean, white, all he needs to do is to get out of the pin, and it's an extra piece. Of course, black has very good pawns, and maybe there is compensation, but
white should be better.
Well, it's a new chess, and you can't sit and evaluate everything. You have to make some moves at some point, and so I had to be practical also. But after then we got an interesting thing. So G6. Well, if you go to the game now,
King C8.
yeah, and then just follow the game.
Bishop E3 and G6.
Yeah, I mean, I did consider F5. It's true, but I wasn't sure what was happening exactly after F5. I thought I could go knight C5.
Knight.
But
You mean bishop
maybe I'm
C5?
pinned.
Or knight C E5. Okay.
Yes. But maybe the bishop E3, Fe3 is awkward. Bishop E3, Fe3, now queen E5 wins.
And
I mean,
rook
Fe4
G4?
first, Fe4, D4, queen E5 wins. Because after rook G4, H G4,
Yeah.
knight E5, yes, rook H2 check, and now
Deep
I can
line.
protect my thing. Yeah. Okay, there are details. I mean, F5 would have been better. I'm not going to bother with an evaluation.
So you better try.
G6.
Okay.
G6, to be honest, I also thought G6 was necessary. And then we got this nice endgame.
You took.
I took, I don't know, king E3, but you don't feel very happy bringing your king out like that.
What do you want to see that now?
Well,
okay.
it's the logical next step in no castling. But anyway,
Yeah.
Fe3, queen E5. So I just had to calculate this. Here takes, knight E5, rook H2 check, king D1. If he goes rook H8, the other rook to H8, then knight takes G4, rook H1 check. And now the big difference, I can go to E2.
And then knight to
So I'm
F2.
one move ahead with my king, and the queen and knight is going to win. So he went rook takes A1, which is correct.
So
and I
check.
found this, it's only because I saw this move D4, because it looks like you can play knight G4. Daniel thought it was lost as well. After rook G1, I have to play knight F2. And then the move which bothered me was G5. And I couldn't quite. There are a couple of lines. One is I could go D4 here, G4, E5, G3, Queen F5 check, King B8, and now Knight H3, and try to play this one. I don't know, but I liked what I did.
But some counterplay versus G4.
You never know. I mean, it's either lost or there's counterplay, so you don't know which one at the board.
Yes.
So I was very happy with D4 because I like this concept of bringing the king to D3. So the only thing I saw...
Queen to G2.
And queen to G2 controlling. And I think with my queen, I'm dominating that pawn, so he cannot protect it. Rook H3, king D3.
Very nice.
G3. Queen F G2. Of course, if black had played B5, I can resign here after rook D1 check, but luckily I have the C4 square. And I could not see any way for him to play B5 and then come. It's one tempo too slow.
Just to show.
Yeah, so this is what happened.
C4
He went, well, he did it in the other order. He went,
first rook H2.
yeah, queen G3. I mean, after this, it's just lost because even in some other line, I could go knight takes F7 and play E5, king E4, and the king is completely protected there. That's another way to think. But here I don't need to because it's just a forced mate.
Yeah.
And all I have to do is to lock the king up. And luckily, I still have these two squares with my king. So.
Yes. Amazing king walk after rook D1.
Well, it is no castling. So.
Played it, yes.
And funnily enough, the person who castled got mated. So.
Yeah, very nice that he left the mate for you with king C5. Yeah, great game with this king E2 idea. I hope you had fun playing no casting chess today.
Yes, I mean, it's nice that you have such a blank slate to try moves, and obviously I'm quite pleased to win.
Nice, congratulations, and have a nice evening. We see you tomorrow against Dmitry Kollars.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Welcome back live at the International Dortmund Chess Days, and it happened a few moves in our break at the game of Dmitry Kollars and Vishwanathan Anand on our NC World Masters today. We saw that they landed in a rook endgame, and Vishy played this nice rook E8 defense here.
Yes, the position became very interesting. The part of strategy of Anand was to activate the rook, or important part. So now he found, I think, very fine move, rook e5. The idea behind this move is to try to use the rook over the 5th rank to attack maybe some white pawns, like a2, for example, or h2, so you can move the rook.
And he has a lot of stable squares at the 5th rank, yeah?
Yeah, there are some good positions for the rook, and concrete explanation what is going on. I was wondering, what about rook b7 check?
I would have done that without thinking.
And rook b6, but here we have move rook a5.
Ah, okay.
Attacking k2.
With the king on c2, everything would be great, and we could have
it would be different.
king b3,
yes,
but now...
yes, but now the pawn is weak, and white takes a pawn, but will lose, and the next move would lose this one, so probably this also should lead to some repetition.
Yeah, okay,
Some repetition, and draw, which is normal. There is no advantage. That is a reason why Dmitry very cleverly decides to copy the idea of ex-world champion, and also to activate his rook over the 4th rank. So now we have very funny situation. Both players try to activate the pieces, and after rook h5, h3.
And the difference is that now after rook a5 can play a4, I guess, yeah? Because we saw this
yes,
rook a5 problem.
Exactly. That's probably important to mention. Rook on the 4th rank stays active and can protect pawns if necessary. It's actually also very, very good move. Black played rook h5, h3.
Okay, you played h3. Why not h4 on this side?
Okay, that's a good question, which I'm not really sure that I can answer. This was simply a different setup of the
another
pawns.
possibility.
Another possibility, yes. I don't think there is something to say against this move. It was also a possibility. He played h3, black played rook g5. There was another option connected with this move, and after a4 to play h5. Black would really love to exchange one of the weaknesses. If white will play g4, then it is always very good to get rid of some potential weakness at least. So then it would be maybe even we can play a5 after some time. So it would be closer to the draw. For some reasons...
But I'm wondering what is the difference with the pawn on h3 after rook a5 in the variation you said, rook a5?
Not a big difference actually. Yes, there's not a big difference. And here to play h5. Yes.
And now you said the same with the pawn on h3. Is it?
Yes, but maybe white have a different setup now. Yeah, that's still very tiny differences, which makes
some g3 and it's...
Yes, we put it differently. We probably put pawns differently. White pawn would be on g3.
Okay, and with the pawn on h3, you can attack it with rook g5.
You can attack with rook g5.
Rook g4, which we don't want to do with white. And here, white can put the pawn on g3, and there's no rook g5. Okay.
Some differences, but that could be actually very important. So Anand preferred a little bit more straightforward to lure the pawn on g4.
Seems natural,
also understandable, and then in some moment to play h5, but in this case white at least would have a passed pawn. Maybe he wants to play f5, at least then g5 could be answered. So he need to find out how to play this position now. So he decided to provoke the move g4. Okay. Now how to use this.
Now he's thinking if he should go h5 or f5.
Exactly, yes. But if you go like h5, okay, white can play h4, for example.
Rook a5 seems
Rook
to be
A5.
normal. And it's not really a threat, yeah? You don't want to take on g4 now with black, so you're not threatening anything?
No. So there are some tiny differences, yes. So you need to really, it's a question also of timing of all these exchanges. It's still, I think that Dmitry would try in this game because at the moment he's trying without any risk.
Yeah, true.
So nothing can go wrong. You can always have a draw. So that's actually a kind of dream situation for him.
Yeah, but what we looked at this h5, h4, I don't know. It feels for me like white achieved something. I don't know.
Yes,
So
maybe.
I don't like h5 that much.
So maybe we do it differently than we have a4. So what?
Now some king d6 just waiting, yeah? And
Yes,
then the question is...
that makes sense. Now the question how white is able to improve this position, this position, to bring
maybe some king c2, king b3,
yes.
and then I can move my rook to b7 finally. I don't know.
And now the question, because I still I would love to exchange one pawn at least. So maybe I don't know how to do it immediately or to play h6 with idea f5. So that would be a kind of ideal plan maybe. I don't want to play immediately f5 because I'm afraid of g5 and maybe something like this.
Yeah, that looks dangerous for black.
Looks dangerous, yeah.
So, no, he's not moving yet. G4
He's
is the
thinking
position.
very carefully, realizing that, okay, let me see this move now.
But again, I would like
we had
h4.
this situation earlier. Or we are not, okay, h4 is good enough. I would say that black would probably more interested in pushing f5 because that really improves the structure. But I don't want to give g5. So my suggestion would be at some stage to play h6 for black.
That's for king c2, h6, yeah. Yeah. Interesting rook endgame we got here.
It's actually very instructive endgame, and very curious to see how the game would be developed. It's actually we have a move as well.
He played it immediately f5.
He played immediately f5, trying to solve the problems now.
It's better with a rook on g5 because no white cannot move g5. Yeah? We saw it with a rook on a5. Then white could play g5. And now
I'm not so sure that it can't happen there because if we play h4, then we can play g5. But maybe he feels that it is not.
But then you can put the next pawn to f6, or h6. I don't know.
Yes, if you play g5, he can exchange this pawns with f6 or h6. Okay, f6.
Rook b7, you have to calculate, yeah.
Yes, but it's probably also may work, yeah. Rook b7, king e6. It still may be working satisfactory.
Didn't I win a pawn here? Taking on
yes,
f6?
we are winning a pawn and take maybe this one, but probably we're reducing the number of pawns somehow. Maybe king e5 activates the king. Going to f4.
Okay, so you give one pawn, but now your king is very active.
And to try to activate the other pieces. So it's actually important to simplify the position a little bit and then to stay active. Yeah, that's probably what the concept of Anand here. We need to look at the moves like rook b7. Because they can change situation, but I guess he would be rushing to help the king
after
side.
rook b6 we see again this
b6
taking on g4 and
he may give up the pawns on c6.
Yeah. Take, H takes, or F takes.
Good question.
And rook A5, I think.
No,
Rook C5. Okay. King D2, and then A5.
And then,
just.
simply A5. You are absolutely right. I was thinking about H5, but why to
that
bother?
looks solid for black.
Yes. It is tricky. Also, the reason why the position objectively draw, that we even can say it, the reason for this, let's imagine the really worst case scenario, that Anand would lose both pawns, A and C, but would be able to exchange all the pawns on the king side. And that ending with A and C pawn in the normal circumstances is theoretical draw.
Mm-hmm.
Even, of course, that Anand would love to avoid to defend it in practice. Yeah. He knows how to do it, but
nobody
wants to spend hours in defending this position.
Yeah, but I get your point. Okay.
So this weakness of white pawn structure actually may prevent him of winning a game in some good scenario if he's able to get material advantage. So black task, or black defensive idea is to try to eliminate as many pawns here on the king side, and maybe not to lose everything on the queen side at the same time. But even if he will lose, he still will lose everything on the queen side, he still has a draw.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we can revisit our friends from the other tournaments.
Just let Dmitry take a look
what to do about this strategy. Maybe
we can go back to this French game with the long castle of Lara Schulze with white against
very good.
Honorata Kucharska, because it seemed to be an exciting opening with this long castle in the French.
But now it looks very good, very good for Lara.
Yeah, because she achieved to take back on d4 with a knight. Yeah, that is a
First of
good
all, she won the pawn back. There's no drawbacks so far, and she's clearly ahead in developing the initiative on the queen side.
And where's the counterplay for black?
Yes, so that's a big question. White to play, actually important that white is to play. Maybe we can look what happened, how it happened after
we stopped after this knight a3, knight b5 idea. We expected this king b8.
And that's actually was played. But it turned out that, my recommendation, I take the full responsibility for this. It turned out that it was not so simple to defend.
So Honorata is watching our stream, or
no?
Probably not. So A4.
But we see here the difficult situation. She played A6. Maybe she should try to do something else. But it was probably bad advice from my side. Yeah, so it is better. It's better for white.
Because this pawn takes c3, if you take another
dangerous,
pawn,
yes. For white, the main task is to open some lines here. It is dangerous. Okay, bishop
There's
e3,
even
probably,
some bishop e3. Yeah.
Probably better move order.
Yeah.
But it's generally dangerous to open some lines and stay with the king.
Yeah, so a6, okay, natural move, but white is good. Yeah?
But white is good because white won a pawn in a very comfortable way, and controlling also central square, and ready to do something on the queen side as well.
Opening up somehow. Okay, queen c7 was played.
And difficult also to spot the counter chances. The next move is actually very brave, but it shows.
Please take my pawn on c3.
Please take the pawn, but it doesn't, or it shows that it doesn't matter. This pawn are not interesting. It's actually good.
You can take another one on b4. But
Good understanding of the situation. So far, White can use his heavy pieces here in attack. I just mark for red. This,
and that sometimes bishop takes a6,
yes,
opening up everything.
Yes, that looks scaring. King would face a serious attack here from white pieces. And look at all pieces: bishops, knight, queen, everything is ready.
All 6 pieces are great from white.
Very, very fine understanding of French defense demonstrated by Lara Schulze here.
Okay, knight b6.
She's better, yeah.
Knight b6 idea to go to c4.
Yeah, knight b6 is okay. So Honorata tries to use the small advantages what she had in this position, and to put the knight on c4. We can maybe follow some possible line here. What is going on?
Just taking.
Let's say taking with queen, and maybe white is trying to attack.
b5, a5, knight b3. So idea, I guess.
Yes, some problems still.
So a5 should not be possible, and so we can open up lines with b5.
We end
a5
up by
is not
opening
possible.
some lines for heavy artillery coming to attack. Yes, so that's some problems also for Honorata even after normal calm move bishop e3. As a matter of fact, to take the pawn would be probably almost. We can still stick to the same plan. Would be suicide, I guess. Yeah, just opening position too much. And
so after a5, you can still go knight b3.
Still go knight b3, or even do something more spectacular.
Ah, okay. So white is winning heavily on material. Yeah.
Horrible stuff. Yeah. And actually, knight c6 immediately was also possible. So white would have here many good moves. Okay, that would be one of the options for white.
The most natural one, just to develop the
But maybe also immediately to play b5, because black is not really blocking everything. Knight b3, yes, and
knight c4.
Yeah, and then maybe there is a difference
that
you can take with a pawn. Yeah. Okay, that would be slightly a better version for black, but still it's dangerous position.
Still, it's a very good position for white with a strong knight and bad
Maybe
bishop
queen
and d7.
goes to f3. Yeah.
But probably there's even more with this bishop e3 first, and then b5.
Yeah, so far it looks very good for Lara, and we revisit maybe
our main game of today.
Main game. Because something happened there, yes. We were expecting the move h4, was played.
Yes, rook g6 you also expected.
Rook g6, and now
we looked at this g5 and you wanted...
Now we're thinking, yes. And I think that g5 leads to simplification. Maybe you are right about h6 is more precise.
Yeah, you wanted to sacrifice the pawn with f6.
Yes, I wanted actually to play f6, exactly. Yes, because here at least white has some moral victory by organizing a passed pawn. Yeah?
And I maybe can achieve to win the a6 pawn and give black the h4 pawn, and I have the a2 pawn and you are the doubled pawns on the f file. I mean, it should not be enough to win the rook endgame, but at least some symbolic advantage here.
Yes, this some very small advantage. True. What is Dmitry considering here? Because he has here rook b7, which is always an option. He may be thinking about taking, but then black would immediately activate his rook g3.
Because king e2 runs into g2. But even that is not
Not
clear,
over.
yeah?
It
Because
was
rook
not over.
b7 at the end, and now there's no
Yes.
king e6 anymore.
Yes. And
And
king,
finally, our white king is more active.
yes, that's actually some way to play this position. To try maybe to go for
For the king
some
move.
initiative, yes, and put problems, yes. So this is actually interesting line, just to take on f5.
I'm sure it was not forced because here's also rook g2 immediately without.
Yes, I am sure that Anand thinks that it is rook g2 may be more precise. Yeah, just keep rook more active. What happens if check? Later we can go behind the pawn.
Yeah, but most important is that the white king is stuck on the first rank. Yeah, that we cannot.
Also far away and cannot support white in
I mean,
attack.
for example, f6 is that clever in some way. Rook takes a2, rook e7. King d8, rook f7 would be maybe something, and here to going there, he's threatening mate.
But we can only win one pawn. Okay, maybe king is escaping.
Now
Sorry,
the king is coming over, rook b6. That's,
Sorry about this. I'll take it away. Yes.
rook
Rook
b6.
b6, rook f2, or rook h2, whatever. Reducing number of pawns is good idea because it brings us closer to the draw. Something like this can happen.
Yeah, and white is a pawn up, which is not,
But
which is not counting.
not
anything.
possible to convert. But we have a continuation, and this is again very interesting.
They played what we were
What
discussing.
we were
Yeah?
discussing already. After rook g6, white played g5, which strategically the move what you want to do. Understandably that Dmitry choosing this option, and we were also considering the move f6 as well as h6.
Yeah. One last question: what did Vishy want to do after rook f4 instead of g5?
In this moment,
Yeah.
rook f4.
If I provoke you to take on g4, and I can take back with a pawn,
Okay, maybe king e6 is coming closer.
and just no good idea for white. After I don't know, king forward somewhere.
Okay,
H5.
we need to calculate it, but that was maybe
Okay.
what was on. I'm speculating. Was it on his agenda, something like this?
Okay.
But it is the same strategy. We try to reduce the material, exchange these weak pawns, and even if we lose maybe one pawn on the side, we still should be able to hold it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so back to the game, g5, f6, this pawn sacrifice, which you wanted to play too.
Yes, that actually looked okay. Yeah, that looked okay.
Rook b7,
We
king
were
e6.
considering rook b7 check, king e6, just go forwards. Just go forwards, pawn takes, king takes f6. Okay, and after rook takes h7, I think we were considering rook g2 and king e5.
Yes, to activate both pieces and
Yes. This active defense makes a lot of sense. We just show the possibilities, yes, of black counterplay.
yeah, the white king is too bad. Yeah, if that would be somewhere on the third rank at least, and
Yes, if white, there was different move order already. Actually, very logical.
Dmitry first took on.
He first took on f6.
Okay, but now the rook has to go to f6. Yeah,
Yes, so this is a better
makes
variation.
more sense than my
Yes,
rook b7 first.
although there is a tricky move now. There's tricky move king c7.
Okay, to stop rook b7.
No, it was not played. It was too tricky.
Vishy took on f6.
We should play. I think he already calculated it earlier. No? So it was. Again, this is a slightly better version because rook is not on g6. But does it make so much difference?
You still want to go king e5, king f4.
King f4, yes. And now black would have active king, and I will try maybe to
bring the rook,
to bring the rook in active play. The position of the king is useful for black. Yeah, I will try to show you why. On f line, let's say white pushes h pawn till the end of the world. Yeah, but black king is hiding. Yeah, black king is hiding here, no danger.
And rook f7 is even more clever than rook h6, yeah?
Basically, yes, because white cannot. Rook f7 creates a threat of us making progress. Yeah. Just it's better attack because we are not going to go to G line anyway. But here it is simple draw.
So both have a passed pawn and they will exchange in some way and should end in a draw. Yeah.
So what I wanted to say that king can hide if necessary behind his own pawn.
Yeah.
And that makes it more difficult for white to profit from passed pawn.
Little rook endgame lecture here today.
It's very interesting, I guess, for many players because you can get rook endings pretty often in practice.
Sure.
Most endings are rook endings for some mysterious reasons. Yes. It's actually interesting to understand why we are getting this rook ending so often, but it is statistically proven that it's a huge percentage of it. White played the move king to e2. Just that's a good move. Just trying to activate the piece. It's still a little bit more pleasant for white. Although we have already symmetrical pawn structure.
But now you will never win any pawn with white, and okay, as you said, pawn structure is the same.
Yeah, it is yes, equal pawn structure. Okay, black should also maybe activate his king somehow. Yeah. So we have more or less equal situation here.
So I think it was great defense by Anand with his rook e8 and coming to the 5th rank, yeah? And at the end.
Yes, that was first very good maneuver, and secondly, look how skillful he improved his pawn structure.
He got rid of his
to get rid of own weak pawns by exchanging them. That was very good demonstration of good technique. Now, what he will be playing is interesting. He can go, for example, king c7. And
stop rook b7 forever.
Yes, and if king to b3, then probably this is a way to hold the position, to prevent white from passing the fourth rank.
Okay, white can go for king f4, rook takes h4, king f5, but
it is unnecessary, yes. It is, because we can't win here. Black can do many things if he wants.
But maybe not go into the pawn endgame.
Not because white king is
too strong.
Yeah.
But rook h3.
Rook h2, yes. I would say that pawn endgame may be lost. Yeah? Maybe not, but it is unnecessary.
No.
It is unnecessary.
Looks dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah, Anand's on a good way to defend this position, which seemed a little bit difficult after the opening, and now it seems like he finally equalized.
He played king d6. I would say this is also a very thematic move.
Yeah, activating the king.
Yes, so we cannot criticize such a behavior. Yeah, that king may be more active here from d6. Not necessary to defend it.
And after rook b7, you would just go rook h6, I guess, yeah?
Yes, now it is not a threat. And I would say that anyway, if white goes king e3, maybe with idea king e4, I would expect Anand to play rook h6 to stop this maneuver.
Yeah, difficult for white now to find any more ideas here, yeah?
Yes, because the structure is symmetrical, both sides has a lot of isolated pawns, and usually it will develop in some exchanges of some pawns and further simplification of the position.
Okay. Maybe we can take a look into this night-off game of Leonardo Costa, which looked exciting after the opening.
True. Let us see what is going on in our.
So on the top you see the current position in the game. So black did not put his rook from h8 into the center, which we wanted to do. So
we thought it is
rook,
better.
Rook e8.
But now he would be suffering for a long time, because I don't see how he would develop anything.
Yeah. Okay, he stopped at least with c5, this tricks on b6.
He stopped some concrete threats, but the pawn is still would be hanging on c5. So
difficult to move for black.
I don't see any constructive concept now, because we cannot push f pawn, we cannot push e pawn.
Yeah, black can only wait, and Leonardo can think how to improve.
At some moment he would play bishop f5 and probably take on d7 with advantage, and that's what is going to happen.
Yeah, or you go for the king now. Bishop d2, bishop a5.
Okay, that is another good option. Very interesting, because you're right. But it looks like Leonardo actually close to winning this position. Let us show our viewers how it happened. We thought that at this moment, after rook h3, was necessary to move the rook to d8 or to e8, maybe for some tactical reasons.
Because after rook g3, you have to go back with the bishop to f8.
And at least we developed our rook. We have a good piece.
Not like Adams yesterday with the rook on h8. Yeah.
But what happened instead? After rook b8, rook g3, pawn is under attack. Very difficult.
G8 is not possible because of bishop takes h6, I guess.
For example, or any attacking move basically attacks the rook, and
even easier, yeah.
So black was forced to play bishop f8, and now look at this piece. This is a bad thing. And also bishop should be passive, and of course white rook can enter the game rather quickly. Yeah. White has much better communications.
And now he played c4, yeah? Okay.
C4. He probably had already some regrouping, like what you were suggesting already, but actually, I'm sorry, bishop f8. Actually,
C4 seems to be all right.
Yeah. Why to bother? Just improve the position and.
Yeah, that's the situation of the game. Okay.
You can just make it slow, improve the position, and we were struggling to see the move, and I'm curious what. It actually was played p3, and now Christoph is thinking what to play at all. Yeah, need to find a legal move.
So very good chances for Leonardo to score a win and get to +1 in this tournament.
That would be an important step, of course, in a good direction.
And the other game of the NRW Sportland Youth Cup was between the two leaders, Jonathan Karlstedt and Artem Lutsko. We saw the opening there. They played very slow in the opening and spent a lot of time, and
yes, we
left it here.
This position should be about equal. Black played rook d8, which is okay, right?
Just to prepare d5 in a good moment, I guess.
Yes. White played queen f3, so solid play from Jonathan.
queen e7, okay. You could also have exchanged the queens, but queen e7 is also a sensible move, I guess.
Yes, you may, if you want to avoid, you can go also
Another move,
more
yeah.
active position. But for some reasons he decides to go queen e7, queen e4. Looks like a reasonable idea. Yeah, and black played d5. That's how we got this position. Pawn takes, knight takes d4.
Some exchanges in the
And
center.
white took on d4. Rook takes d5.
But the
Yes.
structure is not looking that nice for white with his isolated pawn.
That is true. That is true. The structure doesn't promise much advantages. Also, the difficulties to organize the attack. You can, of course, try maybe bishop d3, try to do something over the diagonal, but black can either play g6 or
And
even
stopped it, yeah.
even consider by to play f5. So black has defenses here.
So with the idea to go queen f6 and go for the pawn on d4, yeah? After f5.
Yes, to attack the pawn on d4. So I don't know where this queen should go. Let's say it goes to e3.
Yeah, then queen f6.
Striking immediately, more or less. Yeah?
Yeah, maybe a bit easier to play for black.
Yes. So this idea with queen e4 was not really putting black under big pressure.
So he played
And
castle.
he made castle, understandably, to bring king in a safe position. Black playing very solidly, hitting the pawn on d4.
No, it makes sense.
Yes, and probably white should protect it somehow. Now black would look for some possibility to develop the bishop.
If that move is possible, he will play queen b7.
Yes.
You have to check.
Yes, we have to check it, of course. I was hoping that something good may happen.
Bishop c6 and d4 is hanging, yeah?
Yes.
If you go back, queen b3.
Then we may take on d4. Yes, that looks
Okay,
like
white has
a
no
reason.
problems, but no advantage too. So
Yes, I think generally position is equal. So it's
Yep.
white of course has some lead in the development. So black should take care of it, yeah, and not to blunder something.
Yep.
But it looks like adequate response. Bishop d7, and then black is almost safe.
yeah, and if you get the bishop to c6, it would be a dream position for the bishop. And okay, then white has to watch out not to be worse. So
Yeah, so white may be tempted at some stage to play d5 and to simplify the,
Yes.
the position.
then
And,
could
something like this may
could lead
happen.
to heavy exchanges.
Yes, something like this, which almost
Take, and make it roll.
yes, something like this. I hope we were not predicting the result of the game.
Yeah, okay, but the opening was a success for black, I guess, and seems
Yes,
to be all right.
no, it is of course solid, and to make a draw for Artyom makes
Against one of
sense.
the best players in the field.
Makes sense with black pieces, and then concentrate on possibilities with white pieces, maybe to come to +3 and maybe closer to international master norm.
Yeah. Okay, let's check our two masters on the stage. What happened? Okay, both sides activated their kings.
Yes, let us see the last
You can
couple of
see
moves.
Vishy at the cam thinking.
After king e3, I was mentioning the move rook h6, but
We were sure that he is going to play rook h6.
yes, but probably this is also fine. Yeah, let us consider what is going on.
Rook
Let's
a4.
say rook a4, and maybe now we can play rook h6 or f4. Yeah, so there is some possibilities.
But isn't rook h6 losing a pawn? Taking on a6, taking on h4, taking
Yes,
on c6?
that's actually what may happen, yeah, because we have here many possibilities. And black still in attack of some weaknesses. Yeah.
Okay, so you will win back your pawn.
I think I will pick it back. Yeah. And again, we were talking about worst case scenario that A and C wouldn't be enough to win, but here black of course has some pawns, yes, some pawns. So
Anand played f4 check immediately.
Good. It's probably also that maybe was his idea at the first place, and then to activate the rook. Let us see what is going on. If king d3, rook d6.
But after rook h6 now there are maybe some tricks like h5?
Oh, that's a lovely move.
Rook takes, rook a5, winning the rook. It's not possible.
Yes.
I mean, okay, it's nothing special, but at least
it's a good possibility actually. Yes, to show the geometry of the chessboard. That's not working.
Yeah.
Yes, it started to be actually interesting. What Kollars would do. He played king d3. I expect maybe black still to activate the rook. I think what Vishy is playing, he hopes that there's pawn on f4, and maybe if he later wins pawn on f3, would give him enough compensation. That's his argument here. White is first in attacking the pawns, but this is a good for the future. Pawn is far advanced and it's strong more.
Okay. So, but you also mentioned rook d6 check here.
Yeah, that's kind of the normal idea. And now white has to choose, go forward or to be more on defensive side.
But after king c4 here, what?
King c4,
I don't know.
We go for f pawn then.
Straight away for the f pawn.
Yes.
All right, exactly what you said, yeah.
And it is already on f4, so it makes sense.
Okay, so white win a pawn at first, but your pawn is closer, to queening.
Yes, so it is strongest pawn in the moment. So
True.
Should be enough counterplay.
But he
went rook h6, so we are not able to guess his moves, which could be good side for him, so he was not giving check. Anand played rook h6, but also makes sense that he wants to win this h4 pawn and attack maybe over h3.
Okay, what did we say after h5 now?
I think we have this variation with different move order, if you remember. Yes, h5 it is our favorite.
Yeah, this
move.
One you showed was rook h3,
rook h3
important
and
move, and
so we expect from Dmitry to maybe to try the move h5, but then maybe c5 or king d6 would be tried. It's actually a lovely move to
but
play.
c5, rook a5 is a little problem, I guess. King d5 is not working because of c4 check.
True. Yeah, so we can run into some trouble after all. Yeah. So. No, unfortunately he took. I would love to see your suggestion.
Okay.
Unfortunately he took the pawn, and that goes probably into direction to the variation what we were talking about. But you want to make an interview with Dmitry, yes, or ask him?
I have to ask him about king f2 and h5.
About some moves. Yeah, why didn't he try this one, for example?
Okay, c5 was not working, but there are other moves, of course.
So let us see what was really intended.
Okay, now I can choose if I take f4 or a6.
I think this solves
rook e3. Yeah.
And with rook e3, that's probably the reason. Okay. That's probably the reason. Yeah.
But they make some moves, as we see.
They made some moves. We will follow them, of course. Rook takes h4. And now he was not taken on c6 because it would lead to a draw,
yes.
But just gave a check.
So I like how he's trying to get something and beat Anand, yeah?
He's fighting, yes. And maybe now he's still a little bit an advantage.
But he played king e4?
King e4, okay. Also natural move.
And rook h2, Anand just played. King takes f4, rook c2, and if I want to secure all the pawns, I would have to go rook a3, which is very passive, yeah?
We saw that, of course, this is very, very small h what white had, and black, if he will be able to exchange little bit of material, then a couple of more pawns, then it would be very, very easy. It looks like a draw to me, because if you play rook a3, you are totally passive, you cannot do anything, and otherwise black exchanging pawns and reducing material draw is inevitable.
Okay. Yeah, but Dmitry is still fighting, and I think we go into a little break, and Fiona will come back to you. And not only Fiona, but also our participant in the Deutschland Grand Prix, our grandmaster tournament, Erwin. And yeah, thanks, Arthur.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
And okay, in 10 minutes we are back with Fiona and Erwin. In between you, we can see the game analysis of Dmitry Kollars win against Michael Adams from himself with me from yesterday. Thank you. We are here after the third round of the No Castling World Masters at the 49th Dortmund International Chess Days, and I'm here with Dmitry Kollars. Congratulations, you won today against world-class player Michael Adams.
Yeah, thank you.
How do you feel? 3 days ago you did not know that you are gonna be playing No Castling chess, and now your first
this was really unexpected that I'm now playing against Anand and Adams and also Daniel. Yeah, I'm still excited. I mean, the other tournament was also a great opportunity, but this is, I mean, to play, for example, 2 games against Anand is great, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, and to win a game is a relief, of course, because yesterday was not a good start.
Yeah, and also Adams is a
of
player,
course, against Adams,
yeah.
That was nice, yeah.
Okay, you had not large opening preparation before the week, but I think you made some thoughts what to do.
But it's fun to prepare in this variation, because, every opening is different.
So you went for this 4-night
game. Yeah, I think this has never been played before here. Yeah.
No, we never saw that.
Yeah, it also looks a bit strange, but somehow I thought it's interesting, because here the idea is to go f3. That was the main preparation, and normally this just wouldn't be a great move if you can castle and go d5 quickly. But with kings in the center, I just protect e4 and always have the square on f2 with my king. So maybe I can get my king to safety a bit faster this way. Okay, now I think the best move is d5.
Okay.
That was also my main preparation. Bishop b5. Yeah, and then it can get a bit sharper. There were some strange lines. Okay, you can just go bishop d7, but then I take, and either way he takes, I go e5.
Okay.
And he can also take on e4, knight c6. And for example, after bishop c3, it's best to go king f2 Zwischenzug.
Oh, that's pretty.
That was a nice point. Okay, it's still not clear why it is so much better. There will be some endgame. But okay, they were interesting lines, I thought.
Okay, and so I think you surprised him with the opening choice. And
yeah. And also I wasn't sure if he wants to open the center with d5, if I'm still prepared.
Yeah, true. So he played the normal
d6
move, d6
solidly. Yeah, but that was one of the other ideas. I think now the computer is also already very happy for white, because I take on c6 simply. Yeah, protect c3. I think he could try to. Oh, sorry.
He can maybe take in between.
Yeah, take in between. I think that might help him, and just then take on c3, on c6. Yeah, that was the reason for queen d3. Now at least, my structure is a bit spoiled. Yeah,
would have been an alternative for Adams.
Yeah, here I was already quite happy. I think this was still prepared, but I wasn't sure.
But for you, it's easier to put the king to a good square.
Yeah, that's the main idea. Yeah.
And he played king f8 now, but it's not.
Yeah, makes sense.
Great.
The king is can't stay on e8 forever, but he doesn't have an easy path. But my king is already well placed.
Okay, h4 just to stop.
Yeah, I think I always saw when I analyzed with computer these lines, always just h5, h4, not to allow h4 and rook h5. Yeah, then his rook gets active, and knight g8 was surprising, of course. But maybe his position is already difficult, because bishop g5 is coming.
You can develop naturally, and he has some problems with his rook.
Yeah, probably just didn't know how to get the king out. I don't know either, so.
Okay, so he went
knight g8, f6.
Yeah, I wanted to provoke f6, wasn't sure. But yeah, e6, g6 always a bit weak, so I thought it made sense. And knight c2. Yeah, okay, I had too many options here. I thought forever. Also, knight e2 was not forced, but I thought it makes sense to go in, go in this direction, to these weak light squares.
Yeah.
Here was also maybe threatening knight b3 already. That's why he played bishop c5 probably.
So if I do, I don't know,
Yeah, something like rook b8 is really
knight
unpleasant.
b3 and now a3.
Yeah,
is a
now
threat.
even worse because
A7.
a7 is hanging, but yeah, mainly just the bishop has no squares.
Yeah.
So that's why he went back. And again, I had too many options. I could go knight f4, and then he has to trade on d4 probably, but I wasn't sure if this is in my favor. Okay, I just played slowly. Maybe I had something more direct, but I just wanted to improve the position. Now I have some Maroczy bind suddenly. Yeah. And okay, the main idea is probably to trade these bishops and then get c5 in. Or if he goes c5 himself, and there were some lines where I have b4, so that's why a5 is useful.
Yes.
Knight f4. Okay, I think this was more or less natural. Yeah, but I'm not sure what you should do. I think his position was always.
But when we watched the
difficult.
game, we thought, or we saw that this could be a moment where Black had to play some king f7, and
king
that
f7,
looks
no.
very dangerous. But okay,
Yeah,
the
makes
idea
a lot
is
of sense, of course. Yeah.
to get the rook out, but it looks, I don't know, clumsy, dangerous.
Yeah, maybe I have nothing great. Okay, at least I can always go knight c2, bishop e3, knight e3 like in the game, and should be better, I think. But but he can go c5, and it might not be as direct as in the game.
But we can show how you.
Yeah, now I'm
decided
threatening
the
c5, I
game?
guess. So I think he has to play it himself, but now he weakens d5. I think this is all more or less forced.
So you went to d5, threatening knight takes c7.
Yeah, and he has to take, I think.
If you played this.
Yeah, it's some tricks even. Okay, I can just. Yeah, I think this is the simplest take on e7. He has to take with the king, and e5 is I think winning.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Knight
because
g6
of knight
opening.
g6. Okay, I think so at least. I mean, fe, knight g6, king f6. He could try. This wasn't so clear even.
I mean, it should be an advantage for white.
Yeah, it should be great. But okay, at least he has some central control now. Okay, I can take on h8, go queen c3 maybe, and open up with f4 or something. Yeah, should be good. Maybe there's something even better, but yeah, there were some problems. But after taking, I was really happy because
I think that was a great move by you. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the plan, of course. Yeah. And maybe that's also the difference where he had to put the king on f7. Yeah, then at least. I don't know, it doesn't look great then, but
difficult,
yeah, maybe, I don't know, he has e5 square for the queen then or something. But now, I just get the e file, knight g6 is threat, e6 is just too weak. So I thought this is more or less winning probably.
Yeah, e takes d was a very nice move. And
but
he had to go rook h6 and this rook
this stayed forever on h6 more or less,
until the end of the game. And okay, you are rook up in the center.
Yeah, okay, just one strange moment after rook e8. Here I confused my move order. That wasn't great. Because, you said I'm more or less rook up, but if he gets rook e5, it's not so easy to get through in the e file. Okay, probably rook e1 was fine, but I guess this is much simpler here.
Okay, just to take and put the next one to e1.
Just rook e1. And for example, after g5, I have queen e3 intermediate move, and then knight e6. I think this is too much. And if he can't play g5, I can, I don't know, queen e3, queen e7, just infiltrate.
Okay.
So, this was my plan, but then I somehow played rook e1 first. And of course now he has rook e5, but maybe it's not so bad because now I can enter with the queen along the b file. Also threatening knight d3, and then again he has to trade, and I get the e file. So bishop f5, check. And he has, I guess, no moves after queen d8. That was
kind of
quite nice for me. Yeah, I thought maybe. Because every move weakens his position.
Okay, one he has. A4
A4 was good, also preventing some rook b3, rook b8. But now g3, and I think he has no moves more or less. Yeah, because for example g6 he could try to get king g7 and the rook out via h8, but he's just too slow. I guess knight e6 is simplest, and I think he has to take d6, and this is winning in some ways. But I thought.
Yeah, we thought about queen c7 and
then f4. And then f4. Yeah, that's what I thought is simplest. Yeah, queen f5 and maybe even Okay, king g1 is
that
nice.
Was
I thought
what I.
King g1 is maybe simplest. But I thought just queen d6 is good enough. But but this I also saw. So that's why he more or less has no moves.
Had to play.
Had to go into his endgame. yeah, maybe I could have gone Queen f8 even to keep the Zugzwang idea. I didn't really think about it during the game, but yeah, you just taught me, so that looks nice. But I also thought the endgame is winning because
But the easiest in chess is to get a winning endgame.
yeah, because he only keeps the bishop and his rook, and the rook is completely stuck, so it should be winning.
Yeah.
But still, that was, yeah, somehow I maybe misplayed it a bit, I don't know. King g8, that was the best try.
Rook e7, okay.
Yeah, I'm always winning a pawn here, but also rook e8, rook a8 was winning a pawn, but yeah,
The a1, yeah.
I wasn't sure what's most accurate because here maybe his last chance. Okay, he took on h4, that makes sense. Because he has to, first I thought somehow he has to take on e6 immediately, but then it doesn't work at all. Because if he now takes,
Hello and welcome back to the Dortmund Sparkassen Chess Trophy. As you can see, there's been a small change in the personnel over here. I'm back, you might know me from the other days. My name is Fiona Steil-Antoni, and we're delighted to be joined by Grandmaster Erwin from the Netherlands. Erwin, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Well, Erwin, we have the game up. It probably won't last much longer, but I think before we dive into that, there might not be so much left to say about the endgame. Let's talk about your situation here in Dortmund, because you arrived as a participant in the Open, and after 2 rounds you got promoted to the Grand Prix, so tell us a bit about that experience.
Yeah, that was excellent news because I actually lost in that second round. So I was already not feeling too great about my tournament chances. And then suddenly the tournament organizer came to my room, asking if I would be interested to play in the Grand Prix, which of course is a great chance. It's a fantastic tournament. So of course the region was not very nice. Kramnik having COVID, so of course I hope that it's all fine. But yeah, of course that was a very surprising turn of events. Yeah, very, yeah.
I guess you didn't hesitate for too long before confirming, or?
I immediately, no, I got a knock on the door, literally, somebody knocked on my door, I opened the door, I got the invitation, I said yes, and 5 seconds, within a few minutes, I suddenly was playing in this tournament, so yeah, it was very interesting, and a couple of hours later I lost to Zelbel. That's how it happened, more or less, yeah.
And actually, you should be then promoted to the even higher group after this.
Yes, I was thinking after my loss in the first round, I would now have to prepare for the no castling event, but nobody knocked on the door, so I continued playing in this tournament, made 2 draws, and well, I seem to have settled in now.
Yesterday especially, I think you guys talked about it a little bit during the break. Yesterday you had a very interesting, very fighting long game against Luke McShane.
Yeah. Well, in general, it's a very tough group, and so far my games have been, like you say, big fights. And yes, I just got very nicely outplayed by. I was just telling Arthur, I got very nicely outplayed by Luke, and then towards the end, there were some miracles happening, and I managed to make a draw. But yeah, it was an interesting.
As a matter of fact, we see now draw in the game Kollars against Anand, and maybe we quickly.
I think whenever we see Mr. Filipovic appear on our camera, we know that the end.
Yeah, he's very good at predicting the right moment. That's true. Yeah. I also noticed that. It gives confidence. When he comes, you're like, I'm going to make the draw now. Yeah, that is true.
So yeah, Arthur, we can have a look at the final moments of the game.
Yes. I think we left somewhere here. Yeah, after the move rook c2, white went after the h pawn, and Anand here was confident and liquidated to some ending, where white has to put his rook on a passive position, and black has enough counterplay. That was actually good judgment of Anand. He played c5 after king e4. It could be probably different strategies possible, maybe checking here, but Anand played king e6. In this moment, it became clear to Dmitry that it is time maybe to make a repetition. Of course, he can let's say, exchange the pawns and go for theoretically drawing position, but
Vishy will manage this.
you don't do it maybe against Anand, and so he just showed respect and repeated the moves here.
You also cannot really push after king e6. You cannot really push f4 because of check. So there's no real way to make progress. It's just,
so we can also show this variation.
Yeah, there's not much to do.
So maximum what white can achieve is to exchange c against a pawn and theoretical draw. Of course, again, you don't play it against ex-world champion. So very correct draw. In fact, very instructive game in a way how to defend this rook ending with some weaknesses.
Vishy looks great so far here, right? I really loved his game of yesterday against Friedman. His move king e2 in the opening looked very very beautiful.
It's
really
inspiring.
Yeah.
Had you watched much no castling chess before this?
Well, I'd seen the previous tournament. It's not something that I'm throughout the year thinking about, but I do follow the event. It's very nice to play alongside that tournament and just to see what's happening. Yes, I played king d2 myself, so maybe I get some inspiration from the players as well.
The reverse of history is amazing, yes, because they invented castle.
Yes.
To speed it up,
right?
And now we're coming back.
But is that what is the consensus? Is it actually speeding it up to keep the castle, or
that's probably what they thought.
That's an interesting question actually. If it really speeds things up, or if king in the center makes it actually more dynamic.
Well, one of the ideas I think when Kramnik repopularized or came up with this no casting is I think he wanted to avoid all the theory we have in chess right now. And while we were looking at your games, we were often talking about how you are a renowned opening specialist. You've worked with some very strong players. Do you think that helped you jumping into the tournament so last minute? The other players had a month to sort of prepare for their opponents?
Yeah, I'm not sure my openings have been that how to say convincing here. Also, I do a lot of opening work, but I never really considered in my own games. I never considered myself to be a giant opening guy. I think there are players out there that put a lot more pressure in the opening than I do myself. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure how to answer your question. I also don't want to say that I'm completely unprepared, but I'm not sure that it. In general, of course, also the type of work I do, so the work for Anish before for Topolov, it's not that work you don't take to your own game. So in that sense, it doesn't really help much.
Can I ask you? Well, you're very humble, Topolov. You just brushed over it, but you worked with some really fantastic players. How does it work, especially with Anish, I would say, who is someone who are very likely to face over the board? How does it work when you work with them on openings? Are you allowed to use the things you work on if you find some novelties?
No, Anish is quite relaxed about these things, but I generally don't really, no. It's just, it feels a bit off somehow, because you're working for someone and then you take the rewards as well. It feels a bit off.
Okay.
But he is generally quite relaxed about things, so he wouldn't mind that much, I think. But generally, I don't really do so. No.
Sorry,
I
go ahead.
just also wanted to ask, maybe in more detail, can you describe what is it to be second?
I think it changed a lot over the years. The role of second, I recall Steil-Antoni. He was telling me he worked with Korchnoi back in the day in preparation for matches and also during the match, of course. And they would analyze the joint positions, of course. Well, you know, of course, all about and also the open preparation was a completely different way. The Korchnoi was very much involved himself also in the work. Now, of course, you have a computer that came sort of in between. Germans are gone. So I think the job of a second coach, or however we call it, it changed a lot. So it's a lot of computer work, essentially. and I think less interaction with the player. And of course, well, with Anish, we're making walks, we're talking about the games that he played, but we're not as often sitting down behind the actual board and moving the pieces. That element is gone a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
And well, speaking of Anish, you and him will be teammates just next week in the upcoming Olympiad in Chennai, and there is one more participant who's playing in this tournament, so I think it might be a good segue to maybe, for a change, we'll have a quick look at
that would be nice, yeah.
the Open, because Max Warmadam, who will be another player, so alongside you, Erwin, Jordan, and who am I forgetting?
Benjamin Bock.
Benjamin Bock, how could I forget my dear co-commentator?
Exactly.
So Max, he's having a big game today in the A Open because he's currently on a perfect 5 out of 5 as his opponent, Tonike Zanikidze. So let's have a quick look at what's going on there as Max is looking to continue his 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, Max, he maybe it's good to say, Max, he made a giant jump in the last 1.5 to 2 years, I would say. I think we at some point had a training session with a few Dutch guys. He was also there. I think he was rated 24, 80, 90, something like that. This was about 1.5 to 2 years ago. And now he's the Dutch champion. Yeah. He jumped to 2600. Very creative opening expert. So it's very good, I think, for us for Dutch chess that we have a new blood coming. So here he's been 5 out of 5. So it's today a big game, I think. Yeah.
And opponent also has 5.
Yes.
Points.
Yes.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Okay, let us see what happened actually in the game, and maybe if you want to say some comments. Please.
It's funny that in the second round that I lost here, in the tournament that I left now, I played c5 here. So I have a bit of bad memories about this line. After d4, c5, well, we don't have to get into that, but suddenly got reminded. Yeah. I don't have much to add here to some offbeat system.
But now Black is trying to get something.
Yes.
More original, taken con f3. How do you like this type of structure? Having 2 bishops is enough compensation for some weaknesses?
It's hard to say, yeah. Generally, I always thought that if, let's say, you remove the c3 knight and then b8 knight, and Black gets e6, d5, c6, so fixes the structure that way, the Black is doing kind of fine. But I thought with an extra knight on, you can, for example, read out to e5, and it's a bit harder for Black to
create counterplay.
Yes, that's my take on it, but I could very easily be wrong on that. So I think e6 I think is a normal move here. To prepare that setup with d5, c6, and
trying to harass the white squared bishop.
I always see an engine as well, and propose d5, which I think is a typical way then to try to prevent Black from going d6, d5.
But it was different played. Okay, h4, interesting.
Maybe it also prevents d5 because h5 might be a positional threat.
So Black decided. So it was actually some.
Then I would expect him to push it further.
To keep going. Okay?
Why not? Well, knight f5 maybe, but.
Okay, now he decided it was better to play d5 after all. Yes. To stop the d5 move.
Okay.
Exchange happened. Castle, very brave. But maybe nothing to be done. Not bishop, not h5 as we may
bishop
think.
h3 I don't like.
No?
I'm gonna have a tough talk with him after the game.
How is it like that actually on the team? You're a little bit.
You're calling me old? Or,
I was trying of the most polite way.
Yeah, I'm the oldest in the team. That's correct.
But okay, your captain is Jan Smits. Who
Yes.
Don't you guys even share a
We
birthday?
are both born on April 5th, 1985.
Yes,
yeah.
which
yeah.
is pretty incredible. So how is the dynamic in the team when there's the four youngsters and let's say the more experienced?
Experience. I
But
like
still young,
Yeah,
but
still
more
young.
experienced.
Yeah, I think
Do you hand
I
out
cons-
some lessons?
I consider myself just one of the guys. But maybe the way you put me, maybe I am really the senior there. Yeah, hard to say. Now we have a pretty normal dynamic, like, typical team. Nothing.
No, of
extraordinary,
course
I
I'm
think.
joking because you said you were gonna have a word
Yeah,
with Max.
that was also not really serious. But
Self-inflicted.
no, with Bishop H, I just don't like the move.
Yes,
yeah, I'm going to
yes,
be very
I-
blunt. Just, I mean, H5.
Why not? Why not?
And maybe the bishop is much better on E2, bishop E3, and just
Yes, everything. And no castling chess you can put.
exactly king f1, king g2. Rook is fine on h1. Yeah.
So strange decision. Let's say bishop h3, black played knight d7, castle. Okay, that is different strategy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bishop f4, knight h5. So computer is not happy
B5.
with this move,
B5.
suggesting some very tricky moves. But okay, we shouldn't be too
Yeah, that's
too
not-
heavy, maybe. Yeah, to
that's
to criticize.
It's a bit much.
Knight h5. Okay, white is improving. Knight is poorly positioned. That's probably the reason.
Yes.
c6. I must say it would be almost every move is unexpected.
Yeah, it's a very original game. I
Very
think.
original
Yeah.
game. Very original. And they're ready to make changes in the structure.
Yes. Yeah, it's a
without-
very difficult
without-
game. In fact, strategically.
without hesitations. Yeah,
Also-
this also would
This
be,
last move, C5.
yes would be also
Sorry,
No,
Ah.
go ahead.
This last move, I really because I thought Black would try to play something like D5 and F5 to sort of
to put pawns.
yes on
According to advice of Capablanca on the white squares.
yes. And something like if white goes F4, maybe F5, then put the knight back to F6, maybe to E4. Try to somehow.
Just
I don't
put
know if
it-
this is good. Computer actually hates it, but
could be a plan. Yeah.
but felt a bit more natural somehow.
Anyway, to put pawns on the dark squares, it means that white squared bishop may profit from the
Yes,
situation,
yeah.
be very strong. So, but it was also played b3 for some reasons. No, not easy to. Okay, maybe it would be forced if black would attack.
Yeah, it's
but
just a small little move, I guess.
Okay, so f5
F5
now,
okay.
all of a sudden. Yes, so it is indeed it is difficult to understand
Yes.
what was going on actually, because there was kind of not clear strategical picture to me. Yeah? So what do you think now?
Actually,
about
there's been
this?
a few more moves in the.
Really?
game.
Okay. Then we don't need to concentrate on this. We just show the moves and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knight goes to c6, going to d4. Okay. Bishop g2. That's what we were talking. This is a monster coming slowly to the action.
Yeah.
Bishop e3. So square d5 is for forever.
That looks
Right,
very
yeah.
beautiful
Yes.
for white. I think also a problem is that you cannot go knight d4
Let us
because
see
I
it.
think you take, and if the bishop takes, you go knight b5. I assume. And it
So that is very concrete.
starts collapsing. Just
We don't need. We can't give this bishop away.
Well,
yeah.
Actually, it's just gone knight d4, so maybe
That's
maybe we'll see
So
this.
we are not guessing any move at all. Yeah? So even if we say
well because I
we
mean
can't
even
go like this.
yeah well yeah. It's of course painful when such things.
No, but that means that we have a good sound protection here, so they don't hear,
that's
hear
important.
our comments. So you said simply take.
I thought the taking looked
attractive.
because c takes d4, we get typical blockade on the light squares.
Something. Okay,
Feels-
let's say kind of this position, or maybe later can work on this pawn. Yeah?
So 92 is also many.
Many options.
Nice-
and
nice
if
options.
you take, you have nice.
Yeah, this
Also nice
knight to
possibility
d3 and
to bring the knight on d3. Yeah?
yeah, it's very beautiful.
And-
Queen side starts rolling.
And we have here advantage in the queen side.
Yes.
Very interesting.
This looks very good for Max, I think.
The situation is attractive.
Yeah. Also, the last few moves have been in his favor, I think. It's a good trend.
For sure, Max currently looking very good to
Yes.
remain. Also, if you're watching this game at home and you see the black rating, I think it's very deceiving because Tornike has dropped almost 200 points.
I've seen him on 2600 as well. I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
2600. He's these days 2420 or
Yeah,
something,
it's a
which
bit,
I think
bit too low.
is yes.
It's a bit too low. Yeah, he's definitely better than that.
And well, things are looking good for Max. Maybe we can have a very quick look as well as at board 2, where another compatriot of yours
Yes,
is
yes, yes.
playing, Thomas Bertsen.
Big Feyenoord fan.
Exactly. Playing with the black pieces against Florian Hanke. And well, maybe we can just look at the current position, which looks very interesting.
Yeah, Thomas always plays very enterprising
Yes.
chess. He is. Certain things he does very well. These messy, in these messy things, he's very good.
He is a big online specialist,
Yes.
not to diminish and if to take away anything from his over-the-board chess, of course, but I think I have seen him do fantastically well against some of the best players in the world.
Yeah. I think if you pair me against him in some online bullet match, I will be crushed. He's very good.
Very
this
fast
quick,
and very tricky, and he has these. I think he has something which works very well for him. This online repertoires, which are very tricky.
Yeah, because his openings are not really his strong suit, I think, in general. But online it doesn't really matter. It even works in his favor, I think.
Yes.
Yes, we even cannot imagine at the moment what was the opening.
I guess some Sicilian. It was
It was
C5, knight f3,
okay,
b3.
Okay, b3 Sicilian. Just for the record, yes. But it looks very, very crazy.
I just counted the pawns.
Everything is possible.
What
yes.
does the count say?
Yes.
Just one pawn exchange happened. Yes. So.
Can I ask a question? How do you go on about a position like this where it's really messy and you can't rely on your usual knowledge or just standard positions?
I think you just try to
go on?
calculate, to just see. For example, here I'm fascinated by knight e6.
Yes, I was.
I'm wondering why bishop d4 doesn't work, but probably some knight
move.
Yeah, so you start to just
pure
I think it just goes, right? You just start calculating and
And if you were, let's say for me, if I look at this and I wanted to evaluate, how would I go on about, before calculating, go on about evaluating who might be better in a position like this?
But why do you want
really
to
evaluate
before you calculate?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's such a.
You just have to.
I think you just try your best to see as much as you can, and then you form some opinion, and you either go for it or you don't. But maybe you. I don't know if you agree.
No, because in this case it could be winning in 2 moves. So
Yes,
general opinion wouldn't be relevant if Black could win the queen in 2 moves.
Yeah, we cannot really speak about weaknesses, or it might just. But 96 doesn't work, right?
It seems to be okay for white, but just because we have tactical refutation, it could be also winning for black easily. Yeah? Also, we are a little bit lucky here that we have a3 square.
Yeah.
So imagine some variations where it's not the case. Yeah? So I would say that if you just see the position, maybe first what you need to check is to look at some active possibilities, because it may give you already the clue. And if there is no active possibility, then you go maybe more methodically, and still have time to analyze the structure, for example, and then to see what is going on. But I would think that most of the players would have difficulties in assessing this position, because there's not so many examples maybe with such a structure and such a situation, so you don't know what is going on actually.
Did the queen just go there from d4, or?
That's a good question. Let us see.
Maybe
a couple of moves at least.
I was just wondering, why did the queen go to b4 instead of?
We have some craziness here.
Yeah, it's a lot of craziness. Yeah, I was just trying to read the. Yeah.
That's how it happened. White was threatening to take with bishop. Now he took with queen. Now we need to save the knight. Now black attacks the queen.
Yeah,
and we went to b4 after.
And not to e3.
Not to e3 for some reasons. Nobody knows yet.
Maybe because of b4. Maybe just b4.
And pawn would be.
And the pawn would be hanging. Yeah.
That could be.
That's it probably.
Very logical explanation.
Yeah.
So that's why White went to b4. But we see already crazy complications. Yes, really a very interesting game. And White is very known grandmaster.
He made.
Let us see what happened. He made a bishop f8.
The most obvious move in the position.
True. Yes.
So he threatens to go knight e6 now.
That there is there is a saying, that the threat is stronger than implementation.
White can repeat if he wants. He can go to d4.
Yeah, that would be the repetition.
The most boring repetition.
Yeah. Would be very disappointing.
Yeah, it would be a very disappointing game.
Yeah, White has a lot more time on the clock. What would you do? I know it's again a tough question. What would you suggest for White? How to?
I would not hesitate. I would go to d4 immediately.
Knight c6 looks really scary. So I would probably check a move like bishop b5, try if that works, but it would probably quickly.
I just want to show you idea that you want to. Of course, black should play here queen d8.
That would be ideal.
Yes. to finish the game.
But probably black is not forced to accept.
Unfortunately, not.
And then
it wouldn't be cooperative.
And then knight c6 probably.
Intermediate move, so-called. Yes. Establish control over.
It's not that easy. Maybe it is queen c4.
No, they are not losing immediately with all this play.
Queen a5, maybe something like a4.
But yes, okay. So you want to say that even we have some compensation.
But it's not really. It doesn't feel like a very healthy winning attempt.
Because we sacrificed material, for only two pawns. Okay.
Maybe if we would get one more move and go ef, rook e1.
Could look
lacks a bit of firepower.
We need a little bit more material probably. But on the whole, of course, very entertaining game, and this bishop f8, such a cute move. Of course.
Yeah, we expect queen d4, I think.
Yes. And then do you think, what will Thomas do? Do you think he will repeat? Or
he will repeat once to win a little bit time.
He is capable of continuing this kind of things.
And then he will continue.
Yeah, he's pretty,
Does he have chances of making a GM norm in this tournament, or there?
He needs to play a few grandmasters then, and I think he hasn't played any.
You haven't made his task any easier.
No, that's true, yeah. I made his task 20% less likely, I think.
Okay, well, we will see. Arto, I know that you and Patrick were also looking at some very interesting games from the NRW Cup. So
yes, maybe it's a good moment really to revisit. And we looked also at the women competition, and we have followed the game of Lara Schulze against Honorata Kucharska. And actually it goes almost according to our analysis. We have this position which looks nice for white. And our favorite move was played, bishop e3. So
it was beautiful, yeah.
Beautiful move. And one of the problems of black in this position was the pawn on a5. Exactly something like our analysis happened, and we looked with rook on the1. Very nice concept.
Also, rook b1 is very nice. Yeah.
Basically, it's a nice move, yes. And I see. Okay, I don't think it is saying. Just come back and take a pawn.
Yeah, and it just king on b8.
So black played rook c8, and understandable. Understandable.
And white took on a5. Yeah.
Already, we have the move. It was not forced because I don't know if black wanted to defend. With bishop, we could also protect.
Yeah,
the
like
pawn
bishop
c4.
b4. It's a very nice controlling everything.
Solid move, and if bishop d8, we should somehow trap the queen, if possible. Maybe
isn't white also positionally a move like h5, or white should just be?
White is not really forced to do something dramatic. Yeah. But okay.
What's the idea behind a move like h5?
Oh yeah, it was just hanging. I thought you just.
It's of course.
Actually,
I didn't
and then
see
you
the
just
queen there
take some
on the other
space.
side.
Yeah.
That's so-called positional move. Yeah, you
just,
cannot explain it. You can't explain it. Just.
Oh, but we have fireworks.
Knight a5, we had the...
we have real fireworks.
That was an idea.
We came to that game just in time.
No, but that's a nice, because I was not sure what is an idea, and Lara came with a beautiful move, Knight c6. Of course, now we take everything back. If you can play such a move, you should attack.
Exactly.
You should go for this.
Looks very nice.
Looks good. So
I think it's all forced now.
To take with pawn is a suicide.
Yeah.
Because at the worst we can simply take, but we have a nice line, asking to take with queen and then bishop a5. Yes. So.
Pretty.
All looks very good for white, and probably some kind of checkmating if you like.
Rook b7, king c6.
How do we checkmate?
Queen b3.
Queen b3.
Now you want rook c1, maybe?
Yes, I think that's also just unknowing this position. And if queen goes away, then rook c1.
Yeah.
Very unpleasant.
It's even mate after bishop c5.
Yes, we put it till the end.
It's always nice to execute mate.
Yes.
Yes.
Some nice lines. So black probably would take with bishop, which already happened.
It's already on the board.
Happened, and white took back. Sorry, I did it too quickly. And white took back. Why not? Yeah. Because the main task is to open the position for the heavy pieces. But this is actually still fight. But we will be doubling our forces.
What would happen after rook c6?
Yes, that is probably that would be played.
Not to give tempo with rook b6.
Yes. Again, white may have multiple attacking
queen
moves.
f3. Queen f3 is it's a tough move. Queen f3. At least to me, it looks.
Yes, but it was like I was waiting for white to attack this f7 for some time. So that's actually what happened. Rook c6, we have it.
Yeah, I think it's more human in a way. Yeah,
to take the rook to keep the queen active.
Yeah, and also maybe the other rook to c8, and then
it makes sense actually. But now we have this queen f3 with really multiple.
Is that the only way to go, queen f3?
Maybe sometimes Yeah, just
But queen
seeing.
f3 is not so easy to see, right?
No,
Because instinctively the human
yeah.
eye wants to go to the
Because I don't
the
want to
queen
be a
side.
spoiler, for example, but instead of
Exactly.
knight c6 check, if we definitely don't want to become, but I
She's
think
played queen
knight
f3, by the
Oh,
way.
she played it. Yeah, I don't know what I'm
Incredible.
even. I was just going to say that knight b3 back is also probably very nice for white. But yeah,
Just to
Come
keep.
on, you're spoiling our
yes,
party.
and then to just bring the knight and then a5. And to
Yes,
just, but
but-
I understand. Yeah, it's not.
But knight c6 is a move with a style, yeah.
And she played queen f3 as well, so I take all my words back. Yeah. No, because she probably saw all the way till here, so then
No,
it's
no,
correct,
no,
I think,
she-
to play it also.
She's reigning champion.
I played her in
underrated, yeah.
in Hilversum last year, 2 years ago. Yeah, she's definitely
Very
she's doing very well in
interesting.
the group, right? If I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
I
Yes,
think
yes,
she's
she's
looking
leading,
to
yes.
score this woman GM norm, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
4 out of 5, if I'm correct. Yeah. So she's actually very much, or in top form, obviously. Yeah.
Is she also in the Olympic team?
No, I thought so, but I checked and she's.
Ah, she's not yet.
No,
Okay,
no.
okay.
We have very tough competition now at the moment. So maybe 5 or 6 girls are about.
Yeah, the
about
German
the same
women team
style.
is traditionally quite strong always, I think.
I love the move.
Yeah, queen f3 is very pretty. Yeah.
So let us just analyze some possibilities. Let's say black is defensive
Yeah, then you win the
We tried to-
queen
to-
d3.
and asking for queen d3. And
Oh, yeah.
And then
I wanted rook c6, queen b1, but
Yes,
it
yes,
has
yes,
another
yes.
minor flaw.
yes.
You
No,
were
but-
just testing, Arthur.
No.
No. We were just.
Really not.
No, because I was.
Thank you for that, but I wasn't.
I was showing all these red arrows before.
It's nice to draw the,
Yes,
so also like to.
To be able to
Yeah.
draw it, yes. I probably should change the color, not to irritate with red.
You can change them here. Yeah. I'm, yeah.
Now it will be easier to understand what white is. Yes.
The green is my favorite color.
Green
with
is
the
good.
Chess 24.
Yes, green is good. I agree. But green I would more use for defense.
Ah, yes? Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
for some
Oh,
reason.
maybe this is not.
I like green. I would put it as we need to protect.
Ah,
it.
like that.
Something
Ah, yeah,
like-
yeah,
And it is green.
Yeah.
It's not red.
yeah. And
If
after
you-
and after rook ec1, you would make the queen and the rook red, maybe. Or
Something
Yeah.
under attack.
yes, yeah,
Attention, red.
yeah. It looks like black is collapsing here, right?
This is excellent move.
This is
a
collapsing.
brilliant move,
Yeah.
actually.
Very
I
impressed.
like it. I like it so much. Okay, let's say we tripled.
Fantastic.
We tripled here. Yeah. And then white is picking up some material. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we are not going to resign. We take some material and we are checkmated.
It's similar to resigning, I think.
It's end of the game, but we never resigned. Please
maybe
pay
maybe we
attention.
can go
Please
d4. Can we go d4?
In this moment, yeah? Okay,
It's also
but-
not really much liked, I'm afraid.
Okay,
No,
now I am in an inspiration.
Yeah, I want
and
rook
if you
c6.
take the-
Yeah, yes, I thought rook c7, but yeah.
We are too strong. Let's say just a second. Intermediate move. You do it like
It
this.
doesn't feel very promising.
But it seems okay. Now maybe white continues to.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but
to
it's
gather all
to
this
pulse.
thought.
Yeah. Queen c4, maybe. Maybe if you can win one pawn back.
Just a little bit, yes. Okay.
Because I guess
Which one?
if you take on c4, then maybe there's
Then
not
you-
giant
you-
saving chances, but some.
some saving
Yes.
chances. But of course, why to stop it?
White keeps the attack. Yeah.
Yes, and no, maybe to demonstrate it.
You really like giving mate. Yeah.
Today, only today,
Yeah.
yes, somehow. We have some inspiration. But beautiful move
Yes.
again, Queen f3, really classy move.
I mean, the whole sequence with rook b1, with the whole.
Nice,
yeah,
knight
very
c6,
nice. Yeah.
all was nice, and
Yeah.
it was probably calculated beforehand, yeah? So it was not an accident,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I saw also her game against Riken, I think, a couple of rounds ago. It's also very convincing. She's playing very well.
This game she won in 20 moves, yeah?
Yeah, she just sacrificed an exchange on h4 and just...
If you're watching us out
Yes.
there, that video is
Check
on
that
the
game.
YouTube channel, actually
That's,
with analysis by,
that's nice.
by
Yeah.
Lara herself,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
can find that video on our YouTube channel, along with a lot of others, so have a look. And
So let us maybe revisit another two games that we were mentioning in our broadcast. Here I would say Lara wins, yeah?
Yes.
Would win.
Yeah.
So there is no
Especially
question
given what
about
she's been showing, this is just...
very, very powerful performance so far. And in the tournament,
this is the youth...
Youth Masters and NRW tournament, and we had very, very interesting development here. Looks like White achieved actually a lot. We were anticipating this together with Patrick, but something went wrong. I think this was a moment where we
Yeah, here
left
it looks great for Black.
Yes, and Black played Bishop d7. We were analyzing this, but not the following moves. Maybe Bishop c6 was easier. We
Yes.
decided to provoke b3. Why? Who knows? And now played Bishop c6. Okay,
So
some
reasonable.
idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Some idea. Rook g3 happened.
Queen f8 is
Queen
nice.
f8, a4
Because rook g7 doesn't work because it's made on g2.
Since we like check.
Yeah, I just thought I pointed out because I know you will
This is
enjoy this
important.
one.
This is important detail.
Yeah, it's actually important detail. Yeah.
A4, Rook a8.
Yeah.
With huge energy, Jonathan tries to attack. Yeah? Very interesting, and Black played King h7. So far, so good.
Yes.
Actually, h4 coming to.
I also liked g6 instead of king h7 to go queen g7 and just attack on d4.
And just pull.
Yeah, to just
pause it and to attack it. Okay.
yes.
For some reasons, it is now green now. Everything. King h7, h4, Bishop d5. So far, so good. Yeah?
Yes.
It's actually, but something happened here. h5. It's not easy to play.
Yeah, that's why I like this g6 move because now it's maybe less easy to
to see what to do.
how to
improve.
yeah.
And maybe White wants to double here, Rook g4.
Yes.
Very interesting. Yes, maybe it was necessary to prepare f6, but it's not happened. Black played Rook c8, Rook c3, okay. Rook d6, good. Rook g4. And now maybe Black lost some patience and played f5. This is strange, yeah?
But it already felt like he's losing the threat a little bit, right? Or with rook coming to g3, it looks already like White has...
But why not f6, for example, yeah?
Yes.
If to play
f5
this,
is really asking for...
and it's not achieving the immediate goal to save
so
g7 square. Okay, White probably has a lot of play anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, after queen e2. For some reasons, f5, so Artyom is coming under the pressure from...
We have a lot more moves also.
From experienced international master. Artyom is our friend from Ukraine, who became German champion under 16 years.
And if I understood correctly, he's also fighting for...
He's also fighting for... I think they're both leading with +2. But it could be only one winner.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So
The bishop takes c4 came.
Bishop takes c4 came, and what the move came?
I think b takes.
Let me see what happened. Yes, b takes c4, rook takes c4, rook c g3. That looks very dangerous, huh?
Very.
Very difficult situation. I don't want to leave this game.
So if we go rook c7, rook
Which one?
4, let's say.
Let's say rook 4 to c7, which actually was played. So
Was played, yeah. I think
very
it's
good, very good. So we don't need to.
because I would just go rook e6 probably, but I see that. I mean, to me it looks like, and then d5 you try to. But
Like
Engine
a
wants
natural
d5.
way to cash.
Yes, yeah.
I think it is different idea. If you take, then rook g7 should be.
that's the point. Okay, I was looking for the and c8 is hanging. Okay,
And now harvest time for
Yeah.
white to pick up some pieces.
very nice.
And it's not
Everything
over.
is- everything
and
is-
it's not
yes,
over.
everything is dropping,
That's,
yeah.
that's what is horrible about it. That the pawn d5
Yeah.
would be dropped.
And if we go to h8 instead of g8, does that make a difference?
Let us try. That was in this moment. I played without much thinking,
I cannot go queen g8.
but probably still.
even like this.
Okay.
Yeah, not really.
But everybody is only human, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I think rook e6. It's impossible.
You're not thinking about playing d5.
Somehow
in
it's
such
not.
position. It's really
Either you see it
computer
or you
move.
don't. Yeah, of course it's a tactical sequence that you have to.
But just like you played to take this weakness,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden such tricky move like d5.
And also here, I think white is still pressing.
Still pressing,
very
of course.
hard. I mean, d5, d6, king on h7 is weak.
And also difference that you do it in 30 seconds, rook
Yes.
e6, and
Yeah.
save time
Yeah.
for further stuff. And d5 you probably still need to calculate
Yes.
more carefully.
I too, I think we're gonna have a hard time because I think very soon we will let Erwin go and we will probably also end the show for today soon.
So let us visit maybe
Yes.
the last game. So here, what we say, pressure for Jonathan. Yeah,
Definitely.
maybe he can score, yeah, but still some fight is going on.
Definitely, yeah.
And maybe just quickly visit the next game because we were talking about it.
Oh wow!
Leonard Costa.
I also played him in the Bundesliga now this season. Costa.
Okay. It's actually this game actually was finished.
Yeah, white's pawns look
Too much to handle. Too
Yeah.
much to handle. What was funny the last time when we left this position, it was looking like some difficult situation. Actually, we made another couple of moves. Yeah, b3 and black almost couldn't move anything here.
a nice position.
It's,
Yeah, pawn down, but domination.
Total domination, and it was only a question of time when white would start picking up the material. It's actually what happened in the game.
Yeah, very good stuff.
Good
Yeah,
operation, and big advantage for Leonardo. Actually, how did you play against him?
I won that game. Yeah.
Very good, congratulations. Here, of course, was pressing.
Yeah, it is.
Again, the main problem was the passive rook on g8 now, and okay, here resigning.
Yeah, instructive.
Very nice. Whole game was very interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting sacrifice, pawn sacrifice, and now he is on a plus score, so he may fight for also norms in this event. Very nice. We wish him.
That's
good luck.
what the tournament is about, I guess. That's the main purpose.
Giving a chance for the young players. I think this is a beautiful idea. Also, we have girls tournament. We have tournament for young players. It's excellent combination, excellent mixture.
That was fantastic. Yeah, absolutely.
Erwin, I think we want to thank you very much for coming here on your rest day. Let me ask you, who are you playing tomorrow?
I play Blue Baum tomorrow.
Okay.
With the black pieces.
So what are your thoughts? 3 rounds to go.
I've just been enjoying my. Like I said, it was a surprise that I'm playing here. So I haven't made too much. Normally, when you play such an event, you make some thoughts beforehand, and I haven't done that. So I take it day by day, and I just continue to do so. I think I don't really have big thoughts on my opponents or on the next couple of days. I just try to finish on a high note. I would like to win a game because so far two draws and a loss. It's nothing dramatic, but it's also nothing exceptional. It would be nice to win a game and to leave on a high note.
Yes, we wish you good luck in the tournament, and thank you also for helping this event.
It's my pleasure. Yes.
Brave to drive in this event, and good luck, and good luck in Olympia too.
Thank you. Yes.
I had one final question. Just, I believe you had told me you had been to Dortmund with Anish as a second, but it's your first time playing.
Yes.
So I just want to ask you as a final question, how do you like it? There's a big festival going on, a lot of people.
It's completely different from the tournament that I went to with Anish. There was the closed the old tournament. I don't know how to call it. It was a closed event, and it was not a festival as it is today. So if you walk into the playing hall, you see hundreds of chess players, all the different groups. It's very nice. It's a very dynamic, interesting atmosphere. So to play here is great. I really enjoy it. Definitely, yeah. Worth repeating.
Fantastic. We are, of course, very happy to have you. I can only second what Arthur was saying about, good luck for the last 3 rounds and for the Olympiad. And that will conclude our show for today. Tomorrow we will be back with the usual. The stage will be fully set with Erwin and all the others, also the NC World Masters. So please join us at 3 p.m. Central European Summertime. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.
See you.